You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
Time to have a good show indeed, man. Welcome to the Braylon Show on Woodward Sports 2.0. Excited to be here with you today, especially the day after the Detroit Pistons get their guy. But before I mention his name, before I do anything, there's an individual that predicted that 2 months ago. He's wearing the victory shades. You know him as the Detroit Heckler. You know him as Anson
How about you
Wells.
stay in the shot there?
But today, you will know him as
His glasses are dark. I can't even see it.
Excuse me, Anstradamus. I'm not finished introducing you. You will know him as Anstradamus. And to be honest, ladies and gentlemen, this is 2 picks in a row that he has got. He nailed the Blake Miller pick for the Detroit Lions, and now he nails the Abuka Corey A. Got to get his name right. Anson Wells, what's up, brother?
Who made some money? Who listened? Did you listen?
That's very.
Did you cash in? I bet you didn't on Blake. I bet you didn't have the faith.
Well, in all fairness to the people, Anson, you can't bet on exact team that they go to. You can only bet on which pick that they are. So you would have lost money if you would have bet that they were going to pick him at 21.
Damn,
21.
Justin, always with the fine print over there.
That's why.
That's why there's nice buildings in Vegas, Anson.
You got that right. May 21st. May 21st, I said that Ja Morant 2.0 would be on the board.
How about we do this?
We're going to get there,
Yeah.
but I doubled down yesterday. We're going to talk about that. We got a lot of picks to go through. There's still so much we can do. There's a lot to talk about today. But, hey, I appreciate the introduction. It felt like I cashed a $5,000 ticket last night when they made the name.
Well, I put it to you this way, Justin. Set up. Let's play the clip because we can't wait and play it. We should have opened the show with it.
We should have.
We should have opened the show with it. Realistically, that's on me. I dropped the ball. But here is Anson Wells, May 21st, talking about who the Detroit Pistons should and probably will take. Take a listen.
Did you know that Ja Morant 2.0 is sitting on the board
Ja
for the
Morant
Detroit Pistons?
2.0.
Out of Stanford,
You see how
freshman,
he's working.
6'2",
working the talk.
Abuka Okori. Backup point guard. Sorry, Danis. You're going to have to find your D elsewhere. Listen, this guy can score.
He's a bucket.
He can score, and he can score some more. He will get to the hoop. He can find anybody on the court, and he can hit the three from anywhere you want. Logo? Sure. And he has an absolute handle on him. One of the deepest bags coming out of college this year. Make him a Piston, Trajan.
I'm not going to lie. He's cooking with this.
I will say this.
That was
Kool-Aid.
May 21st.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to Anson. That was May 21st. Shout out for Kool-Aid at the end, kind of solidifying the video.
Yes.
But I will say this. As hard as you caped in that video for Abuka Okorie, who's now Detroit Pistons, you have nothing to say to Sam Stick Day at all.
About who? Jay Nivey?
Jay Nivey and or Jared Goff and or whoever he chooses to love and cape on. Based on that, you cannot do such.
Well, I hope that he loves on this kid, and I know that you, Detroit, are going to love on this kid, and we're going to tell you later all the reasons why.
Sweet Potato Cam, what's going on, man? I see Kool-Aid in the building as well. We'll get Kool-Aid in that spot in a minute, but what's going on with you, Sweet Potato?
Man, just another beautiful day, enjoying this World Cup.
World Cup.
Happy with Anson's prediction there.
Shout out Speed.
I trust his analysis.
Shout out Cam.
Shout out to Justin Satawa, who's in a great mood over there, and I'm loving all the commentary that we're getting right now. That's none other than JS providing that energy for us there. How you feeling over there, brother?
I'm feeling great. I love the pick. I loved what Neil said this morning. I know we'll get into a little bit more. And I don't think the Wings are going to do anything, but I'm liking what is cooking with the Red Wings right now, low key, like on the low end. I'm getting slightly optimistic. Obviously, it's going to take a while to get there.
Shout out, Justin. Your analysis last night crushed it. While people were hating on the pick, I was tuned in, crushed it.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Obviously, I got to be honest with myself. I did know about Okore. I watched a couple Stanford games, and I knew he was a bucket. But then, when Anson was like, honestly, he had the biggest heart-on for him I've ever seen.
That is the word.
And I checked him out a little more. I watched his game a little more in depth, and he blew me away. I really, whether it was going to, at the end of the day, going to be Anderson, Phylon, or Okore. No, I didn't. I wanted all three of those guards over Carr. I can't lie, and then I said that last night as well.
You weren't the only one.
Yeah, realistically, and when you say that, he definitely had. As I learned when I got to UD in 1995 in 7th grade, he has a Rager. I did not know what the hell a Rager was when I was 12 years old. Welcome to UD and welcome to.
That might have been a suburb word.
I could ad-lib songs into this show all day.
UD definitely is a lot of. Here, let's do this. Let's get into the Pistons. Let's get into that in a second. But I want to give a special shout out today. Now, my sister, shout out to Miranda J. Plater Harris, who just turned blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to mention that. Love you, sis. Happy birthday to you. But here's the kicker. My brother-in-law, her husband, it is also his birthday. Throw the picture up there. What would you do if your birthday was on the same exact day as your spouse? Congratulations to those two. I love you to infinity and beyond. But it's got to suck a little bit. Sharing a birthday, birthdays are a big thing for me. I don't know what I would do if I had to share one. And now he's sharing. Okay, well.
I thought Anson was. I'll tap in though, bro.
No.
I personally.
Let's speed past.
I wouldn't like that. I don't think.
Yeah.
Because I like. Well, it's not for me. Because personally, I'm not. I just want to hang out with my family and my girlfriend on my birthday. Right. And I'll see who I see, and it'll be great. It's on the Tigers opening day, so I usually go to Tigers game with my family.
It was your birthday.
And. But I like to have care into the other person. I like to plan for my girlfriend her birthday out and what she's gonna do and that's just me personally. So I wouldn't like that because then I wouldn't get to do what I really wanted to do on that day because I'd be too worried about giving her the birthday that she deserves.
Yeah, I like my birthday to be my day. When you have the birthday you share with the woman, it becomes the woman's day 1,000%. So if I had to share that birthday,
I'm not gonna say it like that, but
by default.
I enjoy having it separated because I enjoy loving to go the extra mile for my significant other, Britt. Putting on the show, doing all the things. And if our birthday is the same day, I can't do that. Now I got to be worrying about what's coming on my way.
Do you peacock more on your birthday or on your spouse, Brittany's birthday?
Her birthday. I don't really.
Smart.
I'm
smart.
I've had so many elite birthdays, 25 in Vegas at Tris when it first opened. Man, I had Pussycat Dolls singing "Happy 25th Birthday." It was different stuff. I've lived the life, so I can sacrifice some of those birthdays, if you will. But here's the kicker, and we'll get to the Pistons right after this. So she had a son, June 11th. So his birthday is June 11th. Then there's their birthday, June 24th. In the middle of that is Father's Day somewhere. Then her daughter's birthday is July 2nd. Her father, my stepfather, is July 3rd. 6 holidays within the span of 14 days.
It's an expensive pair of weeks.
I was just about to say congratulations. Don't be looking for me for no cash. All right, thoughts. Let's get to the real thoughts. Are you talking about the picture on the board? Hey, man, this is actually my birthday. This is when I turned 21. And I can make this make sense for the NIL space. Are you ready? Shout out to, this is back in the day, man. This is network, man. Jeans and Moet on Tuesdays.
Look at this guy.
Oh, look at the boy getting it in. You see the moves.
Jacket.
You see, hey, that was the time.
I know.
This is 2000.
We got to get a little zoom in on this, actually.
This is 2000, and this is February 2004. I had just cut my braids off, 21. But this is where the NIL space is different. So this is at a club, downtown Detroit. They have put all the promotions on the radio. Braylon Edwards celebrating his 21st birthday party. Come out and celebrate. Well, don't you know it's illegal at that time to make any money.
Jawline.
It's illegal to make any money on your name at the time. So because they have put my name on the flyer, because they announced it on the radio, if I would have gone to this, If I would have gone to this party after they started selling tickets, I think 10 o'clock the open happened, then I would have been in violation of NCAA Constitution as it relates to that side of things, and I would have been ineligible for my senior year. So with this picture you see where it's empty? It's just my family. We came at 8 o'clock, and I left the club at 9:30. So I had to leave my own birthday party.
That sucks. You got paid, though.
No. I didn't. Wink, wink. But you know what? I did have fun. Who will get paid if he does his job right for the next 3 years will be Abuka Okorie, the next pick for the Detroit Pistons. Anson, you've talked about him initially, so I want to switch. I want to go to Justin. What were your initial reactions when Abuka Okorie is picked? And not only is he picked, the Pistons move up 4 picks to select him. What were your initial thoughts?
I can't lie. Initially, I was really confused because I did not understand what trades were going on in the grand scheme of things. It was all a whirlwind because on the ESPN broadcast, it was proposed trade. It didn't actually, the teams didn't actually move, and we didn't have the sound on at BlackRock, so I didn't really understand. But once I understood that we got Abuka Okorie, because I thought he was going to the Thunder, and I was like, oh, shit. He's about to be nice. But he is a dog, man. You want to talk about 3-level scorer. Yeah, he's a little lean. He's a little small. But he has a lot of athleticism. He lives above the rim. He can shoot it from anywhere. He's got a great handle, one of the best handles in the draft. If this dude's 6'3", he's going top 5. Seriously, that's how good of a talent he is. And to get him at 21, yeah, he has his flaws in his game. He's a little small. He might be a little lackluster defender. However, he's going to be asked to guard their worst guard. They're most likely their shooter, and he's athletic enough where I think he can get to be a little bit better of a defender in the NBA. But when people knock his three-point percentage, I need people to understand this guy took 250 more shots than anyone else on Stanford last year. He took 80% of his shots off of his own creation. That is absolutely insane. He is going to be such a weapon. His efficiency will go up when he's not asked to do as much, just like Cade's will when Okorie is able to get into the lineup. I think he's going to come in here, I think 10 points per game. Coming off the bench, getting some buckets is very reasonable for him. He might struggle to get minutes earlier in the season, but later in the season, I think if you look at you're going to be able to look at splits. And when you look at the back end of his season, he's going to be putting up double figures. I really believe that he is such a gifted scorer. And as long as he can adjust to being a little bit of a smaller player in the current NBA, I truly do believe that he's going to be a very good player, at least going to be able to be a top-of-the-line sixth-man scorer for you.
Last year in the ACC, Abuka Okorie, 23.2 points per game. It led the ACC and ranked 7th nationally, just under 4 assists a game, just under 4 rebounds a game, just under 2 steals a game. Like you said, 37.5 from the three-point percentage, and then he was 84.8% from the free throw line. Kool-Aid, coming to you. One of the biggest knocks is you talk about this new NBA. It's all about height. It's all about the tall guards. It's all about the forwards. It's about the stretch wings, if you will. But the 6'1 frame, 6'2", but he has a 6'8 wingspan, which allows him to be better at the defensive side of things when he's going against guards.
I'm glad you said the 6'1",
sneaky.
6'2". Most of the reports I'm seeing now are saying 6'2". He is 19. And we used to have a 19-year-old here named Jalen Duren who we saw actually hit a couple growth spurts.
Yes, sir.
So this might be a situation where the Detroit Pistons are thinking about what he can be today as well as what can develop over time. The talent, the elite ability to not just score but get to the free throw line, that to me is what gets my ears perked up a little bit when you talk about a guard who is 6'2". And so I think his ability to show, at that level, people wonder, is the height going to be something that, affects him into any way, shape, or form? And what did we see? We saw this guy go out there and was number 7 in the nation in scoring as a freshman. Put up, I don't know how many, 6 to 8 30-point games. And the usage rate to me, the usage rate with the low turnovers, everybody knowing he was going to be the guy to do work, and he still did work. That to me is what speaks volumes.
I think what happens, a term that gets overused in sport, whenever you have somebody that you feel has a level of intelligence, what comes in? Oh, the cerebralness. Oh, he's a cerebral player. I don't think that you can use that as a cliche in the sense when you look at going to Stanford, when you look at being able to manage both, and when you look at what he's done on that basketball court, I think he is a cerebral in how he approaches this game. And I think that gives the Pistons an element, at least, of that cerebralness where he can back off and understand what guys are saying about the game.
Cerebral.
There you go.
Cerebral. He went to Stanford, right?
That's why I
got accepted to Harvard.
That's where I was going. Accepted to Harvard.
Dope.
This kid's an awesome interview. He loves the game. He was raised by coaches that emphasize the importance of controlling the ball, not turning it over,
Yeah.
being careful with it. That's one of his main focuses, guys. When you look at the freshmen around the country that were in that category of a top 6, 7 scorer in the nation, all those guys went in the top 10. All right, this is the only one that slipped out of it. If he's 6'3", 6'4", he's a top 8 pick.
Easily.
Period. Okay? Now, I've been hearing some people talk, we need size, we need defense. We're pretty good defensively. All right? You put this guy out there, his speed, he can stay in front of a lot of people. You heard me say Ja Morant 2.0. I'm going to throw another name out there. Some of y'all know I don't like, but Allen Iverson. Okay? And Allen Iverson wasn't a shutdown defender, but boy, he could play those passing.
He's aggressive and he played passing
And
lanes.
he could steal from you. And he had the speed to stay in front of you.
That.
Okay? So when this guy's on the floor against a New York Peasant-Bacher team, guess who at times will be in front of Jalen Brunson? And since we're talking about Jalen Brunson, a 6'1" little guy who is the reigning MVP of the NBA Finals. So while everyone's focused on this guy's size, I'm asking you to focus on his game. We're going to continue to break that stuff down, but I'm just telling you right now, Allen Iverson, Ja Morant, those are the ceiling comps for this player. I know that we heard Dennis Schroeder last night. He's going to be better than Dennis Schroeder.
I 100%
Dennis
think
could
that.
never, ever create his shot or even finish the way that this
At
kid.
all 3 levels.
And we'll talk more about his court vision, about his understanding of the game, his ability to pass, his hand. There's so many things to talk about this guy. But I'm going to tell you, the 6'3", he's a top 8 pick. And you're going to love yourself some Ebuka Okorie here in Detroit.
I will say this, and this is no disrespect to Ebuka Okorie, it's no disrespect to your analysis. When you mention Jalen Brunson, don't forget to mention the 2 national championships. Don't forget to mention what he did in college and leading a program that is Villanova. At the time, it was not the Villanova of the 1980s. It was a Villanova that was just treading water, if you will. Him, Mikal Bridges, Dante DiVincenzo, and Josh Hart, they take that program.
I'm not saying we got Brunson.
So that's what I'm.
But I'm saying that little guys can
that's how-
still impact the game.
That's how people will take
Yeah.
it. Just wanna throw
You're
that
right.
out there.
You know
I
what?
appreciate the save.
If I could piggyback on that, I got some names for you guys. That
Give 'em.
Pistons
You
fans.
know what? You know what? Hold that thought.
Hey, you know what?
Hold
Lafayette
that thought. That's a
Lever.
good tease. This when you hold that thought. When you come back, you give us some of those names.
Guards
and
that they
mid-draw.
have cried over in
Some
the past.
comparison. I appreciate
Trey
that.
Burke.
And I will also let
Let
you
me
know.
add him.
He got to be on that list.
I ain't mad at
KCP
that.
got 2 rings.
Shout out to the Utah Jazz, if you will, who selected Trey Burke, if you don't remember it. When we get back, I'll also tell you what I feel about the pick, because I have a comparison, if you will, and it also involves a team in Detroit, and it is not the Detroit Pistons. But first, Anson, why don't you tell us about Founders?
I'll tell you how I feel about Founders. Listen, I'm not an IPA guy, but I always have enjoyed all-day IPA because it's not overly bitter. It's citrusy. It's balanced. It's strong, 4.7%. It's not a weak IPA. It's going to pace you throughout the day, and the flavor is amazing. And that is why it has been the king of IPA category for the last 15 years. So get out this week, get yourself some all-day IPA from Founders, but make sure when you do that you drink it responsibly.
The Super Bowl parade in Detroit will be one for the record books. Detroit just does it different. Woodward Sports, your official Super Bowl or Bust Lions network.
Experience summer in Detroit with pro soccer at Keyworth Stadium. Every Detroit City FC match brings a new reason to show up early and stay late. Tickets available now at DebtCityFC.com.
It's mortgage's symbol of excellence, part of the very fabric of mortgage pros. The Blue Jacket, a symbol reserved for those that have separated themselves from the pack. Those who chose discipline over excuses, standards over shortcuts. At Mortgage Pros, greatness isn't given, it is earned.
The Pistons changed their future last night. It's time for you to make the same move. Do it with Mortgage Pros. You guys saw us out there a few weeks ago. Unbelievable employee culture. And you want to blast through that ceiling? they're going to help you. Six-figure salaries type of stuff, that's the kind of change that you can bring into your life with Mortgage Pros. They're out of Troy, and you can find them at mtgopros.com or call them up 248-416-1361. Change your life with Mortgage Pros.
And we back.
And we
There it
are
is.
back. Chat, how do you feel about the pick? Still want to get all your
Hell yeah,
thoughts on
super
the
chat.
comment in the chat. Get it active. Get the conversation going.
Speaking
Go
of
ahead,
super
go
chat,
ahead.
real quick, you're talking about birthdays, and shout out to Freddie313 with
What?
the $2 super chat. He will be in mañana for his birthday. He's bringing cake, and he's getting an
Glad
autographed
he-
football.
Big brr. He definitely is getting autographed football, and I'm glad he's coming in tomorrow and not Friday. So
right.
we'll get a chance to see Freddie. Feel excited to see you
Shout
in
out.
the studio. You know, if you guys
I
pull
got
up, man,
the
we're
perfect
here.
primer for you
What's
here.
the perfect primer?
Michael Ware's always on time, $2. Wasn't Zeke 6162? How did that work out for us?
This is what I look. This is the conversation when you mention this conversation. Whenever you're talking about the small guards, everybody wants to bring up, what about Allen Iverson? What about Zeke? What about Steph Curry?
The top five in history
What
of
about
NBA?
Jalen Brunson? These are like the top 4 guys of all time that were 6'1" or
for real.
under. So you're talking about unicorns. You didn't mention the 15, 20, 25. You mentioned 4 guys. Jalen Brunson, who just got his championship.
Hey,
Allen Iverson, who never got the championship. Isaiah Thomas, who's the greatest little man that ever lived. And Steph Curry, who's the greatest shooter and top 3 point guard that ever lived, based on the new metrics.
Shout out to the Dynamite experience.
So you're right. What about Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars, who got it done as the original small backcourt? But you're talking about elite. You're talking about the holy grail as it relates to
That's
that
the truth, man.
conversation.
The grail.
Realistically, here's my thoughts on the draft last night. As I'm watching, the Detroit Pistons move up from 21 to 17. Then they select Obuka Okorie. Am I looking at the Detroit Lions in the 2024 NFL draft? Am I looking at a team that addresses a specific area of need, which is the secondary, which is the DB? Haven't had one since Jerry Bly, or who do we trade to the Eagles, if you will? Slay. Need a DB. Let's go get a DB. But let's not go get Quinyon Mitchell, who's the best DB in the draft. But let's not go get a DB in free agency. Let's get a DB that we can move up 6 picks for and went to Alabama. And you know what? We'll ignore the red flags. We'll ignore the overaggression. We'll ignore the penalties that you acquired at the SEC, because he has to be one of those guys if he played for Nick Saban. He has to be one of those guys if he's, DB at Alabama in national championship territory. So when I'm looking at this, I'm asking myself, because this is no knock to who Obuka Okorie is. I think everything you said is legit. How long does he get to that is my question. Looking at where the Detroit Lions were in 2023, they were this close to going to the big dance.
Yep.
I know we hate hearing it, but it's just the truth. They were this close going to the big dance. And then that offseason, what did you do? You drafted Terrion Arnold, who 3 years later was still trying to figure out, is he going to be a number 1 DB in this league? Like, you were that close. Now you look at the Detroit Pistons last year. I know styles make fights. Maybe you get past the Cleveland Cavaliers, and maybe you can take the Knicks to 7. I don't know. Yeah, this is what you guys say. I don't know. Maybe you take a 7. Maybe it's a hard fight. But you're this close to going to the finals. Is Obuka Okorie the move to move up from 21 to 17 to pick? And you're going to get it this year. And he's going to be the piece to put you over the top, or one of those pieces to put you over the top. I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying I'm closer to the mindset that this could be a Terry and Arnold situation versus the situation I think you want.
I think it's the latter.
But it just asking that question, is that an interesting comparison?
It is
to a parallel.
And I'm gonna go there, but it is the latter, not the former. And I'm gonna tell you that Trajan told us exactly what he was gonna do, guys. Yeah. He told us that he'd like to move up. He told us that he needed ball handling, ball security.
Yep.
And he needed shot makers. That's everything that this kid is. But it's more than that. It's going to be more than that. The fact that your point guard is 6'7" affords you the opportunity for your other guy, your other guard, to be smaller. All right? I see this as so much more than them finding their ball handler and the guy that can shoot. I truly believe that this kid is a spectacular talent, a top 10 prospect It's in a year. Yesterday we talked about why are there so many good guys? Because they're all 6'6" to 7 foot and taller, and they all can do everything. So you lose some of these guys. I think in the first round there was 2 players under 6'4" that were taken yesterday. All right, so that severely limits where you're going to take somebody like this. But what I see a guy that could be starting by next year. He's that damn good. So I'm actually going to take your metaphor of the Lions comparison, and I'm gonna say, yeah, I love it. In 2023, when the Lions traded up to get a fast, finesse, lightning streak playmaker, and I'll tell you what, the size. Jahmyr Gibbs undersized. You can't draft him that high. He's not going to be a bell cow. He's too small. There's a lot of parallels where I see between Jahmyr Gibbs, who people didn't like, and then the more that they watch the clips, oh, wow, this guy's got a motor. This guy's got some moves, some swerve. And now it's the same thing we saw last night. I was in there. You guys, shout out. Great job at Black Rock last night. But, man, the chat was 70% meltdown. Then it got to 50%. Who? By the end of the show, when everybody had slipped away for a minute to see some highlights, they came back excited. Same thing with Jahmyr Gibbs. So I'll take that one, but I'm gonna put it somewhere else. And again, this isn't a guy that's gonna sit there as your 9th man for the next 3-4 years. This guy has a talent to literally be somebody that everybody in the NBA is talking about as a rookie.
I appreciate that conversation. I feel like I set you up for an alley-oop.
You really did. One hand or two, man.
That came back on me. But I will say this. With the Jahmyr Gibbs situation, you're right, but we're still waiting to see if he can be that bell cow. We know, we hope, we see.
In year 4.
But this is the first year that it will just be him. And
but the contribution from him year 1, game 1.
No, it's fair.
I think we're going to see that from him.
If we get that, we're not even arguing. We're having a conversation.
Let's just wait until July 9th when we see this kid in Vegas in the Summer League.
The one thing I will say about it, and the one thing I appreciate.
Manifest it.
The thing I appreciate, though, is what you say is Trajan went up and got his guy.
Yes,
there is the parallel that I draw that I agree with. Brad Holmes moved up to get Terran on, or whether we like him or not, or whether we don't understand what he's doing or not. He is the guy Brad Holmes wanted, just like Jahmyr Gibbs is the guy that Brad Holmes wanted. So when you chart a course, when you have a plan, J-Mo also 20 picks, he moved up in 2022 to acquire Jamison Williams. When you got a guy and you go after him, there is something to be said about that. Somebody that was at Black Rock last night and was leading the charge, if you will, with JS. Kool-Aid, talk to me about what you see in the conversation we're having now, because I thought it was a good metaphor, and I feel like it kind of backfired on me.
Look, I love everything that Okoye can be for the Detroit Pistons, and you know what? I'm not saying that he can be this player, but I see some similarities, and when I say a player comp, this is one that I actually think fits. 6'2" frame, a little bit of a Pistons legend here. I would say a Pistons legend. One Lindsey Hunter. On offense. Defensively, I like Okoye's motor, but I do believe that there is a gap there between what Lindsey was defensively and where Okoye is right now. But from the offensive standpoint, if you want to see how someone like he can work offensively, Lindsey was a 6'2" guard who could score and operate at all 3 levels. And you know what? We've had some names here, right, that we've cried about in the past.
Give us
some names like Donovan Mitchell, right? And what was it when he came here for his training camp? That he didn't miss a shot.
Yeah.
If you're hearing the reports, Ibuka is going in and he is like absolutely knocking down stuff. And that's what I love about him. Like, I think that the Pistons are getting their guy. Tyrese Maxey, another one that you've heard Pistons fans say, oh, we passed up on him. Desmond Bane, another one of the short guards. And people, look, we heard Pistons fans crushing the Pistons for not taking these spots. And we saw that they were good shooters. Hey, by the way, catch and shoot, 39% on catch and shoot for Ibuka Okoye. Now you're talking about putting him in a situation with guys like Cade.
I'm throwing the flag on I'm throwing the flag on Desmond Bane. I'm throwing the flag.
Trey Burton.
I'm throwing the flag.
Thank you. Thank you.
We proud about
flag on the play. I'm proud of that. Desmond Bane is he may be short, but he's like built like a linebacker. He's built like a linebacker, if you will. I appreciate it.
No,
some good names.
He's like, dude, he is Billy D. Williams of the modern NBA.
Yeah.
Oh.
He is, dude. Straight Lando Calrissian in Orlando, man.
Orlando.
He's a heckler on the court too.
Lando, let's do this because I see my boy B-Lad chomping at the bit to get in this conversation. Let's open up the door, let him in the conversation.
Real
But
quick,
before-
though, J-Rod wants to know what's up with the hat.
Dude,
B-Lad.
I was trying to explain it to him. I am the one behind the TD desk now. If you guys want the full rundown, I grew up a Wolverine. Dad's side is a Wolverine. My mom's side is not from the state of Michigan. They're actually from Georgia, so they are UGA fans. This was a gift from one of my buddies who attended Notre Dame, and I thought the design was
You
sick.
like the rope, don't you?
So you see that? That's other side. Oh gosh, that's pretty cool.
Not
But yeah,
one comment out of you today on that hat. I was shocked.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like, if somebody gave that to me as a gift,
What's your record with them?
I wipe my ass with it. But
What's your record against
My
those
bad,
guys?
Bray. I don't mean to
Unfortunate-
be repping ops over here.
so unfortunately, it is 1-2.
Oh, really?
1-2.
Started out good.
No, we lost at Notre Dame in South Bend my sophomore year by 3, and then my junior year we beat them 38-0, which is still the largest deficit between the two schools. And then my senior year, we should have beat them, man. We lost by, I want to say we lost by 6. We should have beat them. We should have beat Brady Quinn, who I talked to this morning. Very ironically that you would wear that hat today. I talked to him this morning, but we should have beat them. But this was Chad Henne's first start as a freshman on the road in an untamed environment, and they didn't open up the playbook. We legitimately ran 5-yard routes the whole game until the end.
That's the worst.
And then at the end, they want to go deep. Like, what's the difference between now and the beginning? In the beginning, at least you get the opportunity to see what's going on. At the end, it's a little bit too late. I tell you what, we lost, but you know your boy got off. But
Hell yeah, boy.
Quick commercial break, and let's come back. More with this conversation. More talking about the number 1 pick for the Detroit Pistons, Abuka Okorie, and also talk about the NBA draft as a whole. One, I don't think it was as interesting and as exciting as we thought it was going to be. Hell, the Pistons might have the only excitement of the draft, moving up to get Abuka Okorie. And then, did the Washington Wizards get it right? AJ DeBonsta goes number 1 overall, but a lot of people wanted Peterson. A lot of people clamored for Peterson, even though his antics throughout the season. We'll come back more with that. But first, let's get a message in from Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential. With over 2,700 gyms around the country, it's the gym for you. They keep it clean, they keep it fresh, and they keep no judgment. Home of the judgment-free zone. This is the place for you. Starting, excelling, continuing. It doesn't matter what phase your journey is in. All phases point to Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
It's bear hunting season, and Dan Campbell is hungry for some kneecaps.
If you can just get a hold of them and you start dragging their ass out to the deep, dark abyss, you can drown them.
The Kings of the North are back for another year of the brand new Lions. Make sure you're locked in to Detroit's #1 sports network for all the news and info on your Detroit Lions.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
It's game on at Art and Jake's. Wings, burgers, pizza, and ice-cold drinks served up with attention to detail. Wall-to-wall TVs, great service, and a vibe that keeps your crew coming back. Art and Jake's, a sports bar setting with a fine dining flavor.
This is a hungry bear. This is Carl and Jeff. Carl isn't worried because he has focused energy to spare thanks to Thrive energy pouches. Jeff didn't use Thrive when Carl offered. The bear is happy about that. Don't just survive. Thrive.
The Super Bowl parade in Detroit will be one for the record books. Detroit just does it different. Woodward Sports, your official Super Bowl or bust Lions network.
Whether you're buying or refinancing, a state's title agency is the only place to do it at. My guy, the B-side, amazingly brilliant at what he does, man. It's been in his family blood. His mom has been in this business for decades, and she has noticed all around the world. You should sign up with them because the expertise, they take it to another level. The best thing, though, is simplicity, it's convenience, and they care for you. They want to make sure you feel value and make sure things are easy. That's why they have late night closings as well as weekend closings. They just want to turn up and be there for you. So allow them to. Let them do what you want, and that's get yourself a home and that's refinance at the lowest price. Do it with the B-side and do it today. For all your title needs, call Mr. Deeds. Y'all like that one, man, and we back.
And we back.
For all your title needs, call the Detroit Pistons in the 80s. No, I'm just joking. Shout out, man. How are we feeling about the pick, man? Like, what's the chat saying?
Dante's got $5. He says
$5.
And what people don't realize is he was averaging, we're talking about Abuka Okorie, the Pistons pick at number 17 again, for those of you in the chat asking.
I like that number, though.
That's
17 is a really good number.
The Pistons have never picked at 21, and they had that chance last night, but again, they, in their history, have never picked at 21. They moved that pick 21 for the 17, along with 2 second-round picks. In my opinion, a very small price to pay, with OKC picking right after 17, right there at 18. And to be honest with you, Okorie fits everything that OKC loves to do. I think that he would have headed there, and that
Everybody
is why.
fits OKC system.
This is true, but he specifically does, and that is why I believe that they moved up. But to get back to Dante's point, this kid was averaging mid to high 30 minutes per game as a freshman in the ACC. You don't see that often in college basketball. And Bray, when you do, they go top 8. This kid, again, if he's 6'3", 6'4", just another inch or two, and he's a top 8 pick.
Yeah, 100%. Kool-Aid,
Sure.
averaging those type of minutes, being able to play that, you know what you do? It allows yourself to get in rhythm. It allows yourself to put up shots. It allows you to get a feel for the game. Will that bother him when he doesn't come here right away and have that type of millions, have those type of times, and have that type of space and opportunity to get himself engaged and active to the game?
You know what? I think that the way that this team practices, just kind of being privy to some of those things, and the way that this team has been locked in, he's going to get a natural kind of bump just off of that from a chemistry standpoint. But obviously, that doesn't replace playing in the game, where I believe the number one thing he's going to have to get used to is the physicality. He is a fast player. He is very shifty. His feet, like Anson said earlier, he can stay in front of people. And so I'm not worried about that. And offensively, there's not going to be many people who can stay in front of him, especially when you're mixing that in with a Jalen Duren screen. So for me, it's just the physicality. Can he get to his places the way he used to? Can he finish as creatively in the paint as he used to? And defensively, our team's hunting him. And so I believe if he comes in, he has a nice frame.
Yeah.
But if he continues to add to that, if his team is really pressing him from a physicality standpoint, that's where I believe we will definitely see the best of him. And that, to me, is going to be what determines, along with defense, how much time he does get and how early.
Speaking of how much time he does get, there's an individual on this panel that necessarily didn't want to see him here. Justin, talk about why this wasn't the ideal pick for you with Rebecca Okorie, because what you are doing, you're not negating his skill, you're not negating his talent at all, you're not disrespecting him as a player. You're just simply saying what?
About Cameron Carr?
No, about Okorie.
About our pick? About Okorie?
Yeah.
The only thing that worries me about Okorie is the size. Like, he has every bit of measurable. Other than that, like, he's vert, his quickness. Like, I don't doubt any of that. But is he going to be able to fill out and be able to play in the physicality of the man's league that it demands in the NBA? I think he will, and I trust that he's going to have a transition period, that he's going to struggle maybe to start a little bit, but the way that the NBA plays nowadays, and especially how they call the game in the whole season, not even just the playoffs, with all the flopping, like, it really does negate contact. So it's honestly not that big of a issue for me. I think obviously he's going to have to learn how to deal with an NBA whistle. I know the rookies struggle early in their careers to figure out how to get fouls and not just be flopping all over the place. But I do trust that he's going to have a transition. He's going to at least be a very good offensive player in this league, where you can, ask him to get a bucket at any point.
Nah. Anus, goodbye.
Oh, no.
I'm
With the shades on?
so ready to say goodbye to Mr. Jenkins. But I'll be honest with you. With the very small contract that he signed, with the hella April that he had filling in for Cade Cunningham, between him and Marcus Sasser, you got too many guards, and they're under contract, all of them. So we will get in a little bit later into what the future holds for the Pistons, but right now, listen, this guy is absolutely going to fill a roster spot on our 9-man rotation. Like, he's going to be in the 8-man rotation, and as the year goes on, you might see this kid ascend to 6. I don't know what other moves there's going to be. Again, that's something we'll continue to talk about as we go through the show today. But you had said, is it the former or the latter? It's the latter. This is just the first move, and this is a move that helps you become the best team in the East, to help you get past those New York Knicks, I'll call them. But this is just the first
Look
move.
at that growth.
Because you needed something better than Sasser. The team didn't trust him. You needed somebody that can play better and more under control than Danis, because even though they love him, he cost you a lot at times, especially in the playoffs, making bad decisions. This kid puts both of them on the trading block immediately, instantly. And so while we're talking about beef stew, while we're talking about Ron Holland, I see there's a ton of Ron Holland in the chat right now. You get to add one of those two other names. You already know who I hope it's going to be.
Conversation for me, I want to ask you, Kool-Aid. I want to piggyback on Anson with the Marcus Sasser stuff. That's the first question. A lot of people talking today. We drafted Marcus Sasser's clone. I disagree to a certain extent. But talk about the guards. Anson mentioned him. Is it Ron Holland? Is it Marcus Sasser? What are we doing? Like, who is he going to replace? And the second question for me is simple. How can J.B. Bickerstaff get this guy up to speed? Because one of the things that he does well is work with the younger players. Jared Jack has told me that on many occasions.
Oh, definitely. And shout out to Jared Jack, man.
That's my guy, man.
Hell yeah.
Great person.
That's my guy. We're
Georgia
like literally, we're a year apart. Like, I think I was 01, he's 02. We like ran in the same
Georgia
circle.
Tech, right?
Yeah, he's G Tech. He did his thing.
And he's
100%.
been beyond approachable, man. And so his time here has been awesome for me on the media side of things, because he's one of the guys that are just, you're sitting courtside for the pregame, you're just like, hey, Jared Jack. He's like, bro, you don't got to whisper. I can come over and talk to you and just sit down. And it's like, dog, that's what's up, man. Be able to talk certain things. So shout out to him. But to get back to at least the JB Bickerstaff aspect of it, I believe just getting him ready for the shock of NBA basketball, because I think he has elite skill and talent right now to make a difference right away. In terms of starting, I think that's going to maybe take a little bit of time if that's in his future. But right now, I believe that you drop the usage rate. He had to do so much all the time, you know, and that's another player like Cade Cunningham coming from college. That was his story as well. Now you're talking about putting him in a situation to where you can actually play off of some of his better skills. Can you get that three-point percentage up from 35% on 5.7, almost 6 attempts per game? You can probably get that up a little bit, because his catch and shoot percentage is actually really good, approaching 40%. And so I'm looking to put him in opportunities to be able to help provide some type of spacing, creativity, and secondary facilitation right away. If I'm JB Bickerstaff, I believe he has that skill set right now.
Yeah, that's one of the big moves of why they got him, too. It's that floor spacing, and you talked about that already. Elite as it relates to being able to control the ball, and lack of having the discipline not to create the turnovers, and in creating his own shots, if you will. Sounds like this guy could be a guy. I'm just like still waiting to see what could be.
Yeah, I just, so many people talk about Cade having to operate with the ball. I don't believe that. I think that the best version of Cade, he gets to do both. He gets to operate with the ball.
We saw that. That was JB Bickerstaff's best adjustment as it relates to the Magic and the Cavs series, was allowing individuals to come and help him out in that regard.
And when Danis was playing well, it worked.
Yeah.
And when Anis showed up, it didn't. There's two guys there. You're not getting two guys in Okorie. You're getting one of the fastest players in the NBA, absolutely one of the best handles in the NBA, one of the deepest scoring bags, because this guy can get to the rim with ease. He can finish at and above it. Now, his pull-up game and mid-range game.
Did you say pull-up?
Pull-up.
Oh, okay.
And mid-range game is unbelievable. The step-back three, the catch and shoot, his vision, if you watch and you go like beyond the scoring highlights of this kid, look at his passing highlights. The guy drops dimes all over the court. So this is a guy that to me, I don't think he starts this year, no. I think that there's more moves where you don't need this guy to start. But what you can see this guy develop into by year two, as early as year two, is a tremendous talent in the NBA where it allows you to honestly allow Cade to do whatever he wants or whatever the matchup calls for.
Fair enough. A lot of good conversation around Detroit's new Piston, and that is Abuka Okorie. Let's put a pin in that conversation right now. Let's talk about the rest of the draft, because last time I checked, the coach that used to coach in Ann Arbor, now coaching Dallas, he had 3 guys go before pick 13. I want to know from you guys, who's going to have the biggest impact in year one out of the Michigan trio? But we'll take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll talk about that. Black Rock Bar and Grill, they are a sizzle above the rest. You heard last night, they always want to be welcomed to your event space. Last night's event was the Detroit draft for Woodward Sports, and they were there. They showed out, and they showed up. You heard Kool-Aid talk about the service, talk about the food. Everything was on point. Why don't you use them? They're all around the state, and they want to work with you. And then they got the daily specials if you just want to go and have a good time. A sizzle. You see how I said it? A sizzle above the rest.
Hunting season is almost here, Detroit, and your Lions are on the prowl. Make sure you're locked into Woodward Sports for all the Dan Campbell reactions, Jared Goff touchdowns, Amon-Ra first downs, Penny pancakes, Kirby picks, Gibbs big plays, and of course, Jack Fox's leg. Stay locked in on all your Lions coverage right here on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Finally, life-enhancing LASIK surgery at a price you can afford. Michigan's most experienced eye surgeon, Dr. Yaldo, is offering the most advanced LASIK at just $1,699 per eye, regardless of your prescription. Imagine not just being free from contacts and glasses, but actually seeing better without them. This limited 2026 spring offer is thousands less than others charge. Go to YaldoEyeCenter.com for your free evaluation and save.
Jameer Gibbs, breakout season, loading.
Inside the 5, Gibbs to the end zone, touchdown!
Woodward Sports, the most dominant Detroit sports coverage around.
Oh my goodness. Justin Satawa, and let me tell you about my new favorite best friend, the Amnesia. And look, this is a 2-flavored dispo here. Look at this. It has 2 flavors. We got Skywalker, Indica, if that's your type of mood of that day, or you got grapefruit for Skywalker for Indica and Sativa. We got grapefruit. So make sure you tap in. 2-gram dual chamber disposable featuring liquid diamonds. 21 and up. Amnesia is available at all the top dispensaries across the great state of Michigan with 2 chambers, 2 unique flavor profiles. You can enjoy the left and the right, or both together for the whole package, Sativa, Hybrid, and Indica. Hear the excitement in my voice, people. This product absolutely rocks. You have to tap in with Amnesia. Discover your new favorite and switch it with Amnesia.
And we back.
You know what I love about the reads is when individuals do the reads, you can always tell who uses which products.
What are you talking about?
I'm just saying. You see what's going on over there. So shout out. I think that.
By the way, I smashed.
It might
the
even be
sativa
illegal
side.
in 2026, but I digress.
Sativa side's gone.
Yeah, the Sativa side is getting smashed.
Got
for sure.
a little smoky in the studio. Almost has the appearance of a WWE Monday Night Raw show in the beginning, if you will. All right, last night for me, felt the excitement going into the draft. Like, there was a lot of excitement. You talk about the top 8 players, if you will. A lot of excitement about those guys. Potential moves going on. A lot of willing and dealing was kind of talked about in this draft. Was it just me, or this draft was just, it went like as it just rolled, it flew it, and then it was over?
First 7 picks.
Okay.
I mean, you could have put money on them and cashed
1,000%.
really well. Then it got a little weird. We saw some guys slip. We saw some guys go
What surprised
early.
you? Who slipped that surprised you?
I mean, there's a guy that we didn't think would be on the board, and Isaiah Evans out of Duke. A guy who still has not been picked, Kool-Aid. Is that the #1 pick tonight?
I believe so, but I know that most people's big boards have Malik as the #1. But for me,
another guy we're talking about.
High volume 3-point shooter who I believe gets better when you put him around facilitators and talent. Yes, 100%, man. That would be my pick if I had the #1 tonight.
Okay,
Isaiah
#1. You would take Isaiah Evans.
100. I didn't even think.
Why did he slip to today?
That's what I'm trying to understand. Like, when you look at some of these guards that slip, like Cameron Carr, like even like Okoye, I didn't know that he was going to even get to 17. We talked about if he gets to 17, then we trade up when we get him. I had no idea that was going to be something to happen.
So if that's a conversation, then Okoye was no-brainer then from you.
Oh, absolutely a no-brainer. I was happy about it. Like, I know that there were some people who, they wanted Cameron Carr, and I did too, but just looking at it, it was, when we talked about it on the show, it was like, I don't know, bro. And if he's not there, then Isaiah Evans for me. So with them both on the board, I was ready to go. I was yo, this is fire. We got somebody is not just like a specialist of sorts. He was elite at what he does good. And it's multiple things. There wasn't too many people who were able to stop what Okorie can be in college despite the height. And I get it. The NBA is the next level up. It's going to be a different level of competition. But I like the fact that at each level, he has answered that call. He has answered those questions. And he looks like he's ready. Like, that handle is elite. I don't care how tall he is.
You know who has that number one pick in the second round?
OKC, bro.
Peasants.
Ooh.
They about to get a shooter?
That's dangerous. Because this is a situation where they trade Cameron Carr to the Lakers. They get some capital, and now you're sitting at the top to just take whoever you want. Two names that you mentioned would fit real well there in New York.
Both of you guys love the pick of Abuka Okorie. It's a no-brainer for you. Justin, I want to ask you, was A.J. DeBonsta number one pick overall? Was that a no-brainer for the Washington Wizards? Because there are some, I don't know if it's the minority or majority, that have questions about Peterson and what he was at Kansas.
Absolutely. I mean, there has to be questions with Kansas. I mean, you see with the irregularities with his play, like that is definitely a red flag. And in terms of just pure upside swing, A.J. DeBonza is that swing. I mean, there's not a lot of just uber athletic forwards who can shoot the rock the way that DeBonza can. He can extend it outside. I truly believe that he is a superstar in the making. I love his tape, absolutely. And even when BYU lost a lot of players, Richie Saunders tore his ACL, and he had to carry all the weight, he still was putting on a show, carrying them through that first NCAA tournament game.
How far do they go, sticking with you, how far do they go if their players don't get hurt? Because they had two guys, if I remember correctly, that started and got hurt.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think they would have went way far. They would have went to the Sweet 16. I don't know if they would have went any further. They lost in the round of 32, and they just ran out of gas. I mean, they would have beaten that. They've beaten that Texas team multiple times, but they lost their best shooter, who when he went down, you could tell they could not shoot the rock to save their life. It was just like A.J. DeBonza was their best shooter, and he was shooting pull-up threes in people's faces because he couldn't get good enough looks.
And to your point, that was a game where the ball just wasn't falling for them, which is what happened to DeBonza at a workout. He had a workout before the draft, and the three ball wasn't falling for him. Now, we watched in gameplay, in tournament games, we watched ad nauseum, that guy can fill the nylon. And so when you have one bad day, that's the only thing that created any controversy up on top, in my opinion. I think this guy was absolutely the number one in a really powerful draft, and everything else was smoke that came off of one bad shooting day from a guy that's just going to light the NBA on fire.
Yeah, speaking of lighting the NBA on fire, Dusty May no longer the head coach in Ann Arbor. He's now the coach of the Dallas Mavericks.
He's a millionaire maker.
Last night, not one, not two, but three of his players go before pick 13, including his first pick as the head coach of the Dallas Mavericks in Morez Johnson, who went 9. I asked you this question, and we go around the room. Who has the biggest impact out of this trio this season?
May got himself Mo Johnson. Listen, I'd love to say it's Mara, but he's going to an extremely, extremely deep team. Yeah. Love Morez Johnson's. Kind of reminds me of the Shaedon Sharpe pick a few years ago. Taller. Not sold on his shooting ability, even though his workouts he couldn't miss. Super athlete. I think this guy's going to take a little bit of time to develop into the player that I do believe that he'll be. Now, he'll get plenty of time to run in Dallas. But your guy in the middle, corner and blue, you wanted him here, you didn't get it. But he's going to a team, and to your point before the show, I loved it. You mentioned the wrong year, right?
Yeah.
This guy's going to Golden State in the wrong year. They're not challenging for a championship.
But 2 years ago, man.
But he's ready to play.
Yeah.
This is a mature basketball player who's going to get in the lineup over there right away. And I'll be honest with you, it might not be a championship team right now for him, but he's going to be learning under Draymond and Steph Curry, and there's not a better situation for a guy like that.
Well, you know what? I'm glad you mentioned that. And before Kool-Aid and JS, before you give your opinions on the biggest impact, Yaxel Lindeborg has some strong words for East Lansing as well as Draymond Green. And we got that video.
I hate to give him the love, but that's my pick is Yaxel.
It was perfect timing.
Damn it.
JS, cue that up, man.
I was hoping I could just keep talking and we wouldn't.
You mentioned Draymond. That was too close. I said, well, now I got to drop it in
my
here.
fault.
This is Yaxel Lindeborg last night.
Have number 23 if you rock Michigan skate Michigan State gear for the entire season?
Nah. I'm not doing that, man. I hate those guys. I've only been there for 1 year, but I definitely hate those guys. All that they were saying, and they can't really say much because I went 2-0 against them this year. So they're gonna be little brother for me forever, and I'm not gonna represent the losers ever.
You know what I love about that comment and that commentary is, what did we say during? What did I say during the run? I said, man, like it just kind of sucks because now with NIL and transfer portal, like these kids come to an institution and they don't really have the full connection with the institution. They don't really fully know what that school is. They just know they're going, they're getting paid, and they're going on to greener pastures, pun intended there. But him mentioning little brother, I thought that brought it back full circle. That was all right. That was all right there.
Cool.
What about you? Who's the biggest impact? You know what? And fair. Biggest impact for you out of that trio? Because a trio, a lot is expected out of all three of those individuals getting drafted to teams where they can actually do a lot right now.
Oh, definitely. I know Mo Johnson's very, very confident that he's going to be able to play, with Cooper Flagg and co. and have a big impact in year one. But who's the guy that I think stirred the drink for Michigan? It was Yaxel Landenborg, and everybody all year knew this guy is ready for the NBA. I think people have felt like that for a few years with him, but hey, you know what? What the NCAA allows, they allow, and he got a championship out of it. I believe during that run in the March Madness, coming off of the busted ankle, that's where I saw a lot more of the character in terms of who he could be at the next level, leadership-wise and such. Going to a Golden State team that is kind of on the way down will provide him, I believe, more opportunities to have an impact. I do think it is Yaxel as well, though Dusty May will have the opportunity to be able to coach Mara. So he'll be able to put him in his best position to succeed, I believe.
Two for Lindenberg. Are you also going Lindenberg, JS?
See, and I'm going to go off the beaten path here. I think that Yaxel, there's just too many, there's too many like high-level mouths to feed in Golden State. Curry's going to get his shots. Is Yaxel even going to start over Draymond? Those are questions that are going to be asked. I think Morez Johnson is going to be starting for the Mavericks. The way that Dusty May runs his offense, they are going to play Cooper. Sorry, shout out Thrive. We're going to play Cooper Flagg at the 3. The Mavs are going to play Cooper Flagg at the 3. Morez is going to play the 4, and then they got Gafford and Lively to play the 5. They are going to run that same continuous big guard ball, and if you don't think Cooper Flagg can do what Yaxel Lendenborg can do, then you haven't been watching the NBA, folks. I'm sorry to tell you. Does that mean that they keep Kyrie Irving? They might. But I think that Morez Johnson will be starting and playing a big role, at least defensively. He at least will be a weapon defensively. He is uber athletic. He's got the bounce. Yeah. He's got to get a little more consistent on the scoring end, but when that three-pointer is falling, he is a good offensive player. So, and he has pedigree. We watched the tape from him playing for USA. You watch the tape when he played for Michigan. When he's on offensively, and the defense is non-negotiable, and he gets boards. He's not a soft rebounder, and he's a great finisher in the paint.
And you have a coach that wants to play him. That's why you got him, right?
But see, that's what I was going to go with. I'm actually side with JS on that. I was going Morez Johnson. I think with his defensive prowess as well as his elite plug-and-play situation, you got a coach that drafted you for a reason.
100%.
Let's
very familiar with his game.
But he was very familiar with all three of their games, and he chose Morez Johnson. He had the opportunity to draft all three of them, and he chose Mo Johnson.
Highest ceiling, I think.
100%. I think it is the highest ceiling. What I also think is defense gets you on the court. When you're a young guy in the NBA, defense gets you on the court, and the more you play defense.
That's a team that didn't play defense
Exactly. Last year. And another thing that you notice about Mo Johnson, and I didn't necessarily notice it until you get into Big Ten play, at the end of the season, and maybe in a tournament, he's aggressive. He's aggressive, but he stays within the lines, if you will. He plays aggressive, has an intensity. That's something that they don't have down there in Dallas. Cooper Flagg, for as much as the intensity is there's others that he has to focus on. Morez Johnson brings that level of intensity on defense and that plug and play. Dusty May is not going to draft him and put him in a bad spot. Dusty May is going to do everything he can to enhance the game that Morez is showing, getting better and better since he left Illinois.
I think we got something of him talking about Morez I'd love to hear, but after that, I do want to talk about the fit that Adai Mara is in OKC.
Okay, let's do this. Let's take a quick commercial break because right now we're on beat, we're on par, we're rocking, and we're rolling. We'll get that clip. We'll get it up to you.
Yes,
and
sir.
then we do need to talk about Amon-Ra because when you see him, he's only gotten better and better and better.
doubt.
And I think that ceiling for him could be an interesting one in OKC. Well, let's get a message in from Thrive. There's you, Kool-Aid.
Snap.
It ain't your daddy's dip.
No. You got to do this justice. Here you go.
Sweet potato.
No more gut rotten drinks in the afternoon. Get up on that Thrive Energy
Set me
pouches.
up.
This ain't your daddy's dip, y'all. It's tobacco free, nicotine free, mental powerhouse of smart caffeine. No jitters. You will never experience a sugar crash nor bloating. Thrive can be found online at dipstop.com. Remember to use that promo code WSF for 15% off your entire order.
I told you can tell
Found
use products.
exclusively at all Market Fresh and Market Square locations. Thrive Clean Energy. They flip and work, y'all.
Work.
And we're going to rock and roll after the show with a little bit of Loom. I might even drive myself down to the Berkeley location at 12 and Woodward because I got to re-up. But fortunately, Woodward Sports is my plug too. We want to be yours. We want to save you 30% off your next order, whether it's in person or online at loom.com. Mention that WSN30 and you can get yourself 30% off. And if it's your first trip, they're going to hook you up with some free stuff. In fact, your first 3 trips, they're going to hook you up. 40 locations in the state. You can find them all at loom.com.
The next generation of Detroit sports media is here. Crunch Time is back on Woodward Sports. Join Jeff Iafrate and Booner Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Taking Detroit sports coverage to the next level with massive interviews, viral moments, and the best live reactions. Get ready, Detroit. The young guns are taking over. Crunch Time on Woodward Sports.
It's game on at Art and Jake's. Wings, burgers, pizza, and ice-cold drinks served up with attention to detail. Wall-to-wall TVs, great service, and a vibe that keeps your crew coming back. Art and Jake's, a sports bar setting with a fine dining flavor.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
Took 15 years for founders to create the first vodka in a can, but they made it happen, typically like they do. 5% ABV, citrusy, refreshing. It's the summer drink for you. It is the Water Hazard by Founders. Check this out, man. Golf course, have yourself one of these. After you finish doing the yard on a nice Saturday, have yourself one of these. Or if you're just sitting there watching the Tigers of World Cup, sit back, relax, and have yourself one of these. They do it the right way. But you got to drink responsibly. You got to take care of yourself. But when you do, make sure you choose Hazard, the Water Hazard, that is, by Founders.
The only water hazard on the course you can enjoy.
This is true. You know what's funny is, like, I'm going to say this and then it's going to start being a thing. I never go in the water.
Oh, dude, you should not have said that.
I never go in the water.
You should not have said that.
I don't aim at the water, though. I don't worry about the water.
Nobody aims at the water, Bray.
Well, what happens is when you get the hose and you see water, it's like, oh, my God, it's water.
It's like a magnet.
I can't hit the water. I can't hit the water. I'm going to hit the water. I do hit the water.
Yeah.
I just act like it's not there. Like now, if I have to go 80 yards over the green, then so be it.
That one shot I saw, man,
So
it was right
be it.
over the lake.
Was so
No
big.
doubt.
Getting back, welcome to the second hour of the show. What is the chat talking about? We're spending so much time breaking down the picks, breaking down Dusty May, Yaxel Lindebor, and your new Detroit Piston, that is Ibuka Okorie.
Super chats.
Let me
in
get them.
here,
Let me hear
Brandon.
them. What the people talking about?
Let me read them to you
All right.
as well. All right, so shout out to Freddie Felt, $1.99 super chat.
Birthday boy.
Birthday is tomorrow. I'll be in the stew with a cake. Shout out to Freddie. You're sad I'm going to miss you tomorrow, brother, but I'll see you soon as I always do. Michael Weary is vibing on Okorie. $2 super chat. Wasn't Zeke 6'1" to 6'2"? How did that work out for us?
once again, I think we answered that already, but, I'll have fun with this one. Zeke is the greatest point guard of all time. Zeke is the greatest small man of all time. He is an outlier. And so is Jalen Brunson now, and so is Steph Curry, and so is AI. Those are 4 outliers. And in that span of those 4 players, how tall is Kyrie? Kyrie 6'2.5"?
6'3".
Yeah,
in that range. Yeah.
I think Kyrie was on the edge where he still was lying about the height. But realistically, I think he's like 6'1" and 7".
I was looking at him right in the eyes, man.
100%.
I'm about 6'2".
You're talking about Isaiah Thomas, who got drafted in 1981, and now you're talking about Jalen Brunson, who got drafted in 2018. So in that span, that's 37. That's 47 years.
And also
47 years.
Go look at the draft in 81 and see how many guys
45
were over 6'8".
Way off.
I mean, because honestly, you'll see how many guys in that draft were small. This is also the decade of Fat Lever, Michael Adams. Yeah. I mean, there was guys being drafted.
Earl the Pearl Monroe and David Thompson. I guess you
Spud
can draft
Webb.
smaller guys. Yeah.
Come on, Muggsy Bogues. I was privy to a conversation.
How about Eastern Zone? Earl Boykins.
That's right. Will Robinson, Magic Johnson, and Isaiah sitting there at his camp talking about if Muggsy Bogues was 6'1", he'd be the best player in the NBA.
Well, that's what all the tall players say. Well, not tall, but that's what all taller players say about elite players at that time. Because what does Kobe, rest in peace, always say about Allen Iverson? Mm-hmm. If Allen Iverson was my height, we'd be having a whole different conversation.
Hey, shout out to Will Bynum, the OG.
Hey,
we got a couple more super chats in here. We got 2 more for you guys.
Up.
Dante 15151 with the $4.99 super chat. And what don't realize he was averaging mid to high 30 minutes per game as a freshman. You don't see that often in college basketball. Definitely not. It's a great point. Deuce also with the $5 super chat. CBS rated him the third guard, only behind AJ and Detroit's own Acuff.
That's true. This is some good things behind it. It's good stats, good knowledge, good information to have with the conversation, and the conversation is a really good one. We do have Lions news. Been a couple moves that happened around the NFL today. We want to know how that impacts your team. We'll do that next segment. But let's get back to the 3 picks. We talked about Lindeborg. We talked about Morris Johnson as it relates to being with Dusty May now. Mm-hmm. But the other guy we got to get into is Amon-Ra, who you guys have been telling me since January was going to be a special player in this NBA.
The only way he wasn't going to OKC is if Dusty May took him at 9. Okay? These guys, the defending champs, just lost to the alien, to Wemby, the 7'5" nightmare. You've got Wemby, or not Wemby, but you got Chet Holmgren. These guys go way back to under 17, they're AAU, national play, not AAU, excuse me, Olympic world play, not Olympic, but the under 17 teams. And Wemby's still, he never let go of losing to Chet back then. And he owned him in these playoffs. And the fact is when you ask Chet to be an offensive presence, a rim defender, but also check Wemby, you're going to get terrible outings from him, and he was terrible on multiple occasions in that series. Now you bring in Amon-Ra. It reminds me of having Rashid, Ben, and Mehmet Kerr to defend Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh, okay. I see.
Talking about what they had.
The ideology.
So now when you bring this guy in, you've got the big guy, Isaiah Hartenstein. Right? So that's kind of your that's
physicality,
kind of,
defensive you got your rebounds, mess you up, get in your head.
Then you look at these other 2 guys. You've got your I guess you could call him your Rashid in your the other guy. Excuse me, Chet. But this guy right here is your Mehmet Kerr. This is a guy that can step out, might not be that fleet of foot and be dunking all over everybody, but he can pass, he can do so many things. And now you have 3 guys that can defend Wemby. And when Wemby has to come off the court because he doesn't have that endurance, now you got these big guys that get to stay out there, one or the other. So I think that this was always going to happen for OKC. The fact that they had 2 picks, they had the luxury of getting the big 7'3" guy with the wingspan and standing height larger than Wemby's, and then go on later to go and get a player that fits their system.
Kool-Aid, looking at OKC last season, we know that J-Dub was not his best self. He was injured, tried to play through it, further injuries. What was the other individual for them? Joe? A.J. Mitchell. A.J. Mitchell also was nursing some injuries throughout the Western Conference Finals. 100% he was through the season in the first round. Looking at that, and now you draft Amon-Ra, what does that say about where OKC will be this year? Because the conversation is the Spurs are now the face. would the Spurs even got to the finals if those injuries don't occur? And now you have a Amon-Ra.
You know, I think that Mara brings them a lot of versatility two-way wise as well. You know, you look at some of the questions even that SGA got asked about Chet Holmgren. I believe that Mara, not right away, but somebody who, with the development of OKC and what they've been to these young players, I think that he will have an opportunity to be able to go in there and impact things, match up a little bit, like you said, with the alien, but also be somewhat of a player that can help to alleviate some of the issues in terms of how teams defend and guard an SGA. And so I believe if he shows to be as adept as he was at Michigan with kind of being able to be effective on the outside as well as inside, you imagine like pick and rolls, you imagine just kind of getting lost by defenses and such and being able to be an outlet to just hit a few open shots per game. I absolutely do believe that he's going to have the opportunity to have a big impact as it relates to a role player in his first year.
I like that. So we're expecting big things out of all three of the Michigan elite that won the national championship
Just
this
one
past
last
April.
thing on that is we won that championship because we were able to put Memo one-on-one against Shaquille O'Neal and allow Ben to play on that assist recovery help side defense. And we saw so many blocks come from that position.
Mm-hmm.
This is the same thing you can now see with Amon-Ra staying straight up, Bill Laimbeer style, and then you've got Chet operating and flying in. I also want to add one other thing to the Washington conversation. You're looking at a possible starting lineup of Trae Young, Keyshawn Johnson, DeBansta, AD, and Alexander Sarr.
I'm sorry, what does AD stand for?
Anthony Davis.
Oh, it's a very long time.
Champagny, Bub Carrington, and Bilal Coulibaly. That's an 8-man deep roster. Trey's going to re-sign there from what we're hearing. AD's probably going to move on. But I'll tell you what, this young little squad that they just put together with DeBansta, AD might stick around.
AD might stick around, but even if he sticks around, there will be no contest for the Detroit Pistons. And with the Detroit Pistons, they're not done.
No.
Last night, they got their guy at 17. They move up to draft Rebecca Okori, but it's not over for what the Pistons want to do. Kool-Aid, what's the next move for the Detroit Pistons who don't have a pick in the second round?
Yeah.
What is now the focus? You got your guy. You moved up. Everything executed perfectly. And now here you are. What's the next move for this front office, Trajan Langdon?
Part of me is wondering if they're looking at getting back into the second round. You see it wouldn't cost too much to do so, and there are some players that are interesting. You know, when you look at Henry, when you look at, obviously, one of my favorites, Isaiah Evans, there are some things I think can still help the Detroit Pistons in the second round right now. But, you know, when you look towards free agency, I know Trajan Langdon and I believe Okorie are supposed to speak tomorrow at a press conference. One of the things I'm hoping to ask Trajan Langdon in the press, in the scrums after, and I know he's going to be asked, is how do these things affect free agency ahead? I'm hoping that they look to upgrade their size. That's what I need.
Yep.
The playoffs kind of revealed something, and knowing the types of teams that we're going to face, they're going to run out size, especially when we talk about Boston. Are they really willing to move a Jaylen Brown to what? Go and get an Evan Mobley who brings more size to the table for Boston Celtics. So I'm looking for, you know, I know there's some people out there who like the Norman Powells, but I'm looking at even guys like John Collins. That's somebody I know that the Pistons have flirted with in the past. He is versatile, and I wonder how he looks in a situation that has stakes. That's what I want to see. A team that's like boosting him and trying to pick him up because his skill set is undeniable. It's just a matter of does he still have those gears that we've seen John Collins have in the past. But that's something I'm looking at for real.
Ironically enough, AI here has John Collins with a Pistons after it. Everybody else has their correct team. I love the John Collins fit. This is a stretch guy that likes to defend, that is a savvy veteran. And to your point, it feels like he's been a Clipper or something equivalent his whole life. He's never had any real stakes. You bring him into a team with good leadership, with great young talent that's on the precipice of doing something, and you probably don't have to pay him a whole lot.
Don't have to pay him a whole lot. Justin, you're up, man. You're up in the conversation.
I think, first of all, I want to hit on the players left in the second round here because there is a guy who I do think could play a role on this team, and that is Trayvon Brazile from Arkansas, 6'10", 4. He's a little lean, but he is uber athletic. He's extremely athletic, very good shot blocker.
Is that the tatted up light-skinned guy?
Yes,
he can jump out of the effing gym.
No doubt.
Yes, he can, Bray. He can put you on a poster. He can shoot the rock from deep. He when he was not asked to be the featured option at Arkansas this year with Acuff there and Wagner, I mean, I think that he really blossomed. He, they question his defensive prowess at the next level with how big the people who play the 4 are, but I think he's athletic enough and lengthy enough to be able to stay in front of them. And I think that the shots there, we're looking for size, we're looking for shooting. I think this is a swing that you can take. He's 23 right now, but they said, we saw how Yaxel was able to shoot up. Obviously, he didn't have the year that Yaxel has, but he's put on a couple very good, college basketball seasons in a row. And I personally like his tape. And if we were going to trade in the second round for anyone, currently he is the 11th best player on the board. Yeah. I think that
you getting love for this right now in the chat.
Oh, I am. Oh, shout out to the nerds that know about
college hoops, though. You know it deep.
So yeah, I mean that's a guy I'd be interested in. And then on the John Collins front, I mean John Collins sounds great. I mean that sounds like a guy who you could bring in here who very that would be the ceiling of Brazil as if you got super duper lucky. They're very similar players with the way that John Collins is way better defensively, but John Collins can space the floor. He's uber athletic, take you to the rack. I like him in here with Cade and Duren. I think that's a good match. I think you still need a little bit more shooting if that's the way that you go, but I think that everyone is in that boat where you can never have too much shooting.
So needless to say, man, the Pistons are still going to be working. Justin's always working. Justin's always fire over there. He's always got something going on. Knowledgeable about everything.
Yeah, he wasn't even scheduled to be on the show last night. He was just like, look, bro, if there's any support that you need, I'm there. And obviously we know he walked into the network with the college Bible, bro. College football, college basketball, and his knowledge, man, as well as the grind and his willingness to support the teammates. Shout out to that dude, Justin.
He walked in with some moxie and some conversation. I remember when Justin first got here. I remember some conversations he and I had and get on the same page, but one thing you couldn't deny about him was his fearlessness, but backed up with information, backed up with true thoughts, and backed up with, what I've been watching, I've been reading. So always got to give somebody that backs it up with real information the credit that they deserve, and you deserve that credit. Excited to talk Lions talk, or are we still talking about the Pistons?
Well, I will talk
because it is exciting
all
conversation.
Day long. There's some cool stuff that's out there right now.
Let's dip the toe in the Lions for a second, and then we'll come back to the Pistons.
Here it is. In that case, let's get a message in from Supreme Lending, and when we get back, we will talk about the Detroit Lions and the NFL 100%.
Hey, get in touch with Chad and Chris over at Supreme Lending. You probably are looking at refinancing your home. I know most people are. Otherwise, you might be in the market for a new home or you want to upgrade. These are the guys to call. But call them early in the process. They're going to walk you through all of it so that you can be in the best form by the time you close. That best form could include much lower interest rates, maybe a 0% down payment program. But certainly, if you mention Woodward Sports, we are going to save you up to $500 off of your home appraisal. You see them up there. It's Chad and Chris. Get in touch with them today. They are Supreme Lending.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media. And we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
It's bear hunting season, and Dan Campbell is hungry for some kneecaps.
If you can just get a hold of them and you start dragging their ass out to the deep, dark abyss, you can drown them.
The Kings of the North are back for another year of the brand new Lions. Make sure you're locked in to Detroit's #1 sports network for all the news and info on your Detroit Lions.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Hey guys, we've been eating leftovers all day because it's that damn good. Shout out to Buddies for hooking us up yesterday. And we want to hook you up too. When you go to buddiespizza.com, you put in that code word Woodward20, you're going to save yourself 20% off your next order or up to $200 off of a catering order. So if you're trying to have a pizza party with buddies this summer, you know where to go. And that location is buddiespizza.com.
And we back. I was over here pulling up some pictures, man. I'm getting ready to go to this trip to Bandon Dunes and play this golf course again. Extremely super excited. But
How do you pronounce the state?
It's Oregon. Okay. Oregon. Is that what you're going to say?
No, because they get pissed when we call it Oregon.
Oh, no, it's Oregon. Yeah, I spent some time on Pacific West in Seattle, so I definitely heard a little bit about that. But yeah, man, like when you go out there, like I didn't realize how expensive it was if you're playing in harsh conditions. What? Anyway, enough about that. Getting back to the show, there is news around the NFL. We clean up any super chats, any comments, any
we got one for Dante. We'll hit real quick. $5 from the legend himself, Dante 151. Sorry, 151. Hey, Kool-Aid, could the Pistons swing a trade for Brandon Ingram from the Raptors? If so, how much would the Pistons have to give up in that type of trade package?
15 Coney dogs.
It's a lot. And as he said back from our couch in the back there, Dante, that ship has sailed.
Speaking of ships sailing, it seems like Kyle Pitts has sailed his ship for 3 years, $55 million. And I don't necessarily care about Kyle Pitts, nor do I care about the Atlanta Falcons, although I still live in Atlanta. I care about the tight end market because it represents one Sam Laporta. With this move being on the table, how do you feel about the extension of Sam Laporta? Because you know that conversation is looming. Put up their stats, if you will. I think we have the stats in the background. Shout out. Look how fast you were on that.
My man is still milking his rookie year, Kyle Pitts.
So is Sam Laporta.
Fair.
That's facts.
Unfortunately, so is Sam Laporta.
That's fair.
You didn't think I was going to be ready to
You shut me right up. Now, there's some other news that came out, B-Lad.
Yeah, there is. Justin broke it a couple minutes ago in between one of the breaks, but Brenton Strange just signed a 3-year, $48 million deal with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
16 a year.
You know, like not too long ago, we were talking about Sam Laporta, and I had mentioned that I thought he was important and we should keep him. Not anymore. I am not on the sign Sam Laporta trade because at the end of the day, we have way too many more valuable players to sign. And one of those valuable players is going to be Jahmyr Gibbs. I don't think they're going to do that tag for 2 seasons and try to ship him out. I don't think they're going to do that. I genuinely think they're going to extend him. And it's really up to either Branch or Laporta. Which one do you want more? And I would rather have Branch.
Yeah, Branch was my favorite line when he got here in 2023 in just terms of, we use the term Swiss Army knife, so I won't use that. But he reminded me a lot of Brian Dawkins, and I was hoping that he could potentially take his coverage skills to that, and it seemed as though he was trending in that right direction. Don't necessarily like the disciplinary stuff out of him, but he is a really good player. He's a really good player who has those issues and also now has an Achilles that he's recovering from. Is Sam Laporta more valuable because he doesn't have necessarily the serious injury and then the other things going on?
Well, I wouldn't really look at it as far as that. The one thing that I would be looking towards is like replaceability. So like, for example, like Sam Laporta, we can basically kind of do what we did with TJ Hawkinson back in the day when the Dan Campbell regime first got here. It's not like TJ Hawkinson's a bad tight end at all. They just didn't want to pay him. And like he went to a very good system. And
especially when you're not blocking.
Exactly right. Well, yes, Sam Laporta is a much better tight end in the run game. I should add to that. But they could do something similar, and I do feel like Sam Laporta will have success if we don't re-sign him or anything like that, or if we don't pay him an extension. But the thing is you can do it again. You can go out and you can replace him in the draft, or you could get like a rising kind of more of a unproven player who's been in the league for a couple years. I know Dan Campbell and Pets, and they like their blockers. So, I mean, they made it happen with Brock Wright, and I'm not saying Brock Wright is all that in a bag of chips, but, like, he's decent.
B-Lad, nobody replaced him in this lineup last year.
No, I'm not saying he got replaced. I'm saying we did it.
Look at what happened to the offense when he went out.
I understand that. But at the same time, we didn't have a play caller other than Dan Campbell, and at the same time, like, our run game wasn't even – it was very inconsistent at times too. But that's the thing is – we have the weapons now on the perimeter. Like, you can even use Tesla as a slot receiver and kind of fill him in that wide receiver role in a way. But that's what I'm not saying that's what they're going to do. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. But he's, your bigger guy. But the thing is I feel like before we had Laporta, we still made it work. That's the thing is it's a replaceable position. It's more of a luxury position as well. Obviously, you can just kind of roll with a bunch of blocking tight ends in there and then use your receivers for your pass game. Like, it doesn't necessarily all have to be, we need to have a reliable tight end. Like, you don't really need that all that much.
You don't necessarily need that, but when you got a guy like Laporta and you mix him in there with Conklin, like, you look at the teams in this league that get to the Final Four, they get to the Final Six, they all have 2 tight ends that are legit in this game.
I agree, and I think Laporta is elite. And don't get me wrong, I love Sam Laporta, but are you wanting to pay him upwards $60 million?
Are you, Justin?
I question the back injury. That's a big injury to have right before getting paid. And you know what you can do? You can draft another one in the first or second round.
A faster one, right?
The hit rate is extremely high in them lately because the position has never been at a standard that it is at now. So I am all for getting rid of Laporta. I think that extending him will cause, like, we already talk about how bad the defense is suffering from having to pay all these offensive players. We can't just continue to play all these offensive players. You need a good defense. And as much as I would love to spend that first round pick on a defensive player, I would rather pay Brian Branch over paying Sam Laporta. If they're both healthy, I would rather have Brian Branch. I think Brian Branch does more for you on the field than Sam Laporta does. I think that it's an easier position to replace. There's gonna have to be players that we lose in this this regime. And if it comes down to Branch or Laporta, I'm taking Branch. Laporta, I feel like you can replace his production. You really don't need everything you get from him either. Like, you get this surplus, and like Beal had said, hopefully Tesla takes some of that interior route tree away from Sam Laporta, so you're more comfortable losing him in the middle of the field, where you find more of a tight end that you see. I'm sorry to mention the Bears.
It's all good, Porky.
But Kmet and Loveland are so dynamic together, and Loveland, was drafted top 10, and you know what? The Bears might not pay him after, and they drafted Sam Rao. They're going to get rid of Kmet. The Sam Rao is going to be great. That's exactly what the type of tight end that the Lions need in order to keep this thing pushing and after Laporta and not suffer enough offensively where you'll get the receiving from Tesla and you'll get the blocking from Laporta.
Yeah, 100%, man. You look at what this game is as it relates to the tight end position. Never been as popular as it is right now. And they literally seem like they're falling off trees, Anson.
Justin, I agree that you sign your Brian Branch, defender, captain kind of the secondary, over your tight end. But that's not the conversation. The conversation is Jahmyr Gibbs or Sam Laporta. And the fact is the current NFL, running backs don't get legitimate extensions after their rookie deal unless you're Saquon Barkley. Now, this guy, Jahmyr Gibbs, obviously falls into that class. But when you look at Laporta, where are tight ends' best years? At their end of their 20s. That's where they peak, guys. When you look at all of these guys, the end of their 20s, early 30s, that's when Kelsey and all of these guys dominated the league. Those are the years you want from Sam Laporta. Okay. Now, when you look at Jahmyr Gibbs, this is a guy that we don't even know how many touches he's going to get this year. Heaven help us if he gets 300-plus carries. Heaven help us if he touches the ball 375 times this year. And realistically, that's what all of Lions fans want to happen. I don't see that man holding up over that. It has to be a large portion of Pacheco to be able to balance that out. But at the end of it, you can put this guy on the you franchise this guy for a year or two. I'm sorry, but Laporta, you watched what happened. Jahmyr Gibbs disappeared at times. I know our line wasn't great. I know we didn't have a good offensive coordinator. But the fact is, when Laporta came off the field, our offense completely changed. It was far less dynamic. The run game didn't work. And Jared Goff looked flawed without Laporta out there. You keep this guy through his peak, through his best years. We're already getting Jahmyr Gibbs' best years. This year, the next year, maybe the year after that. But outside of Saquon, the big guy out of Tennessee, how many guys Bijan at the running back have actually lasted? We'll see what happens with Bijan.
Not a lot of running backs last, and that's a good point to your point. And as well as our run game wasn't efficient at times, obviously after we lost Sam Laporta, and obviously the O-line was terrible as well. But the thing is, Sam Laporta is going to be asking way too much. Like, screw the Falcons for making this deal because Kyle Pitts has been a nightmare for 5 years.
I feel that.
You're just messing it up for everybody else, and I bet the Jaguars think, oh, we got to steal. But, like, it's at the same time, they just mess the whole market up because then Sam Laporta sees that. He's, like, you got to be paying him at least upwards $60 million.
Yeah, when Brent Strange getting 48, yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But, like, 3 years, 4 years, like, that's a huge hit. And I just have a hard time seeing the front office roll with that, especially with their tendency of kind of recycling or like cycling through tight ends. Like they did it with Hockenson already. No one really kind of expected that all that much.
Not their guy, though.
But it wasn't their guy, which is true.
Hear me out on this. And realistically, when we're having this conversation, as I see another legend just joined in the building, when we're legitimately having this conversation, nobody's dissing Sam Laporta. Like, I know sometimes you guys
we love Sam Laporta.
Oh, my God. No one's dissing Sam Laporta. What they're saying, I think you can mesh what you guys are saying together. Anson is more so saying what this player A, let's take Sam Laporta's name off of it. Player X, legitimately, when he's on the field, made your team that much better. He allows you to do a lot of things. He caught, he blocked, he did all the things. The usage rates were up. The third down conversion rates were up. The points were up. But what they're trying to say is it Sam Laporta as that particular special player, or is it that position where you can plug and play another tight end who's still going to have Amon-Ra St. Brown as his number one, J-Mo as his number two, Jahmyr Gibbs, Isaiah Pacheco in the backfield, and now enhanced backfield with a quarterback who is 45, 10, and 28 every single season. So is it Sam Laporta that's super valuable, or another tight end like that, because your offensive skill set and now offensive line is that valuable?
I think Petzing will ultimately have the final word on this. He does love.
He'll have a strong opinion.
12 personnel.
And that's another thing, too, about the whole running back situation is a lot of those guys that kind of died out around 28, 29, 30 years old, they were the bell cows since they got into the league. And I, from my understanding, I know the Lions are going to be running the ball a whole lot more in general, but I still feel like Dan, Drew, and Mike Kafka, they all kind of know that their strategy is working for the longevity of Jahmyr Gibbs' career. I love when I see Jahmyr Gibbs on these top 5 rushing stats and he has way higher yards per carry and way less touches. Like, that's just so satisfying to me, and I feel like they will continue to do that. Like, there's a reason why they signed Pacheco, and I feel like they're going to keep signing him a knuckles-type running back to balance it out more because they want him for as long as possible. I know they're going to sign him, too, and it's going to be upwards like $80 million through like 4 years or something like that.
Paid after the rookie year, Christian McCaffrey with the Carolina Panthers. Devon Achane just got paid with the Miami Dolphins. Jonathan Taylor was retained and paid by the Colts. James Cook signed his deal last year.
And the Falcons still got to get Bijan.
And this guy fits that whole mold of all those names that you just said. You have to sign him, and you have to use him and then extend him as an offensive weapon. But if you use him as your bell cow and you sign him to be that, I think it'll be a problem.
Herein lies the thing, and we'll take a quick commercial break about that. And, should I save this point when we come back? Let's just break it. I'm locked into the point already.
Drop it.
Here's the thing about that. When you had Jahmyr Gibbs operating under Ben Johnson, operating in that way, and you could protect him from himself, and you could use David Montgomery, all that's well. All the stats match. All the stats check out. Oh, this is what we can do when we have 2 running backs. This is what we can do when we have a coordinator that can put that running back in the best situation. Last year, you didn't have that coordinator, and you couldn't put Jahmyr Gibbs in those situations.
True.
So now you couldn't get that same production. And now you have a situation where, can I put him in the right offense to have success? What does that look like this year? That's why Petzing is the answer. Petzing and Kafka are the answer.
It's going to be something brand new, and it's going to be fun to watch.
Because I think they're going to try to put more yards, more attempts, more on him. Is he ready for that, and can they put him in the right spots? I think that's the best thing for me.
I hope so.
100%. We'll take a quick commercial break here. Tell us a little bit about pure psychology, because very important. And I know a lot of times we try to gloss over, and you do a really good job of bringing it back into the fold, but let these individuals know it is good to see somebody, and this is why.
Yeah, because it's real fun to talk sports. It's especially easy for us guys to talk sports. The stuff that's in here, up in here, it's not so easy for us. But we've got an awesome partnership with our friends at Pure Psych. They're all throughout Michigan. They've got a couple more spots in northern Ohio. And the big thing about them is they're not cookie cutter. They are going to tailor a plan for you to get you on the road to wellness, whether it's PTSD, anxiety, relationship issues, whatever has you down, they're ready to get you up. So find them over at PurePsychMI.com. Make the call today.
Hunting season is almost here, Detroit, and your Lions are on the prowl. Make sure you're locked into Woodward Sports for all the Dan Campbell reactions, Jared Goff touchdowns, Amon-Ra first downs, Penny pancakes, Kirby picks, Gibbs big plays, and of course, Jack Fox's leg. Stay locked in on all your Lions coverage right here on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Planet Fitness now has even more best-in-class strength equipment. Join today for $1 down and save.
We're stepping it up.
We're not slowing down.
Finding new faith, new focus.
Love that new equipment smell.
So, you in?
Join the club today. Save when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
Experience summer in Detroit with pro soccer at Woodward Stadium. Every Detroit City FC match brings a new reason to show up early and stay late. Tickets available now at deadcityfc.com.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
Justin Satawa here to tell you about massage chairs. Let me tell you about the largest massage chair showroom in the great state of Michigan. They got all the models that you could possibly want in a ton of different shapes and sizes. So make sure you go there, make your body feel good, and make an investment in your body recovery with the massage chair. I'll scan the QR code above my head and tap in with Dr. Eric Duncan, the wellness doc on YouTube for all the latest on massage chairs. And when you're relaxing in those massage chairs, Mad Packs, the perfect combo, now available at a retailer near you. And listen, they got the Boom Shakalakas, they got the High-Lows, and they are the most premier live resin, keef-coated pre-rolls in the game. They smoke really nice, no canoeing or anything like that. So make sure you tap in with them. And the Mad Pack Minute just posted today by your great leader of Mad Packs. Well, not the leader, just one of the spokespeople of Mad Packs, Spencer Raxter. So make sure you tap in with Mad Packs today.
And we
back.
100%. So we switched gears to the NFL conversation, and that NFL conversation has talked about the tight end position. Britton Strange just get paid 3 years, $48 million for the Jacksonville Jaguars, as well as Kyle Pitts earlier today, 3 years, $55 million. And now, 3 years, $55 million. And now the conversation is about one Sam Laporta. Before we get there, Tigers lost last night.
Dude, yeah, it was.
We
were hot in the beginning.
Quick.
I was like,
I just had to throw it out there real quick because Justin.
Can you believe that?
What did he say? He said, "No, I'm not buying it. At the end of the day, they got to win at least 8 in a row to even be in the conversation. I'm not paying attention until then." Well, they lost last night.
I actually listened
in ugly fashion.
I listened to the broadcast last night at work.
I didn't watch.
I listened.
Listening to ball games, like, it's classic.
There's
I got
a different
no
kind of
problem,
feel
just
to it.
Baseball only.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Sure.
I had the speaker
Unless
going.
Got Bobby Curley on the mound.
He goes down swinging.
That was a bad at bat for him.
1,000%.
That is such a great clip, dude.
It seems like in this conversation,
and he beans him and gives him CT.
Routine pop fly, and he bobbles it. All right, here we go. The conversation talking about the tight ends. It seems like the chat is split a little bit. So as you are split, what we'll do is Justin Satawa has a little bit of information that may help you pick a side. Justin, tell us about that spot track stuff.
Absolutely, and Kyle Pitts is estimated to get $15 million in his first year, and I can tell you that Sam Laporta will be getting more than Kyle Pitts if his agent is in any way competent. So, and the way to compare Jahmyr Gibbs in the current market is to the one, the only Saquon Barkley. And Saquon Barkley's contract peaks at $17 million per year. It is built in an inclined state to match the Eagles cap. So, to give you that context, you are essentially going to be paying Jahmyr Gibbs and Sam Laporta about the same amount of money. They're going to take up the same amount of cap space, the same length and extension. So that truly makes it one or the other. I also would argue that Brian Branch, who's a UFA in the same year as Sam Laporta, I know it's not the conversation, but he's also going to take around that same type of money. So you are going to have to command around $15 million, probably a little less for Branch, but around 10. for three of the most essential pieces on this team, and it's going to be a very interesting debate on how you decide to pick.
That's going to be very interesting. I appreciate the information. It makes the conversation a little bit more interesting. I won't say different. It's just about the value. It's about the impact and the value, man. I mean, you look at Sam Laporta. Both of you guys have conversations. You look at Sam Laporta when he was on the field last year, the Lions on offense, they just were not the best version of themselves. And when you look at when he's on the field in his career, they tend to play better ball. But is that because the offensive line last year also wasn't good when you have that conversation? With Brian Branch, that defense, that secondary, they stink.
It was awful.
It stunk last year, and you're talking about the plays, getting to the quarterback, being able to check the tight ends. I mean, you saw what he was able to do to Travis Kelce in 2023 and George Kittle to a certain extent. Like, he can match up. He's all over the place. He is that little Wolverine type of player that Brian Dawkins was. And Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs is something that the NFL does not have right now. He's a guy that can hit the home run in multiple ways as soon as he touches the ball behind the line of scrimmage. So where's the impact? Who is the most value? Who's the most coveted? It's tough.
And you got to withhold.
That defense, though, man.
Well, yeah.
They're
starved over there.
And they've been starved since 2013, outside of 2013, since ever.
Well, you got to withhold judgment and suspend all sentences for the offense last year. You've got a broken offensive line that they weren't prepared for a retirement. You've got your leader who was injured. You didn't know how bad it was. You got first, second-year players shuffling in and out of your guard spots. You got a guy that was outmatched and out of his element in terms of John Morton trying to run an offense. You get a head coach that takes over the play calling. He's overwhelmed. You lose Laporta, a guy that opened up so much for the passing game, for the running game, was an additional blocker for you and a huge red zone threat. All of those things, it was just a calamity. Yeah. You still went 9-8 though. And when you look at that offense, I just can't. I have to reserve judgment because we have no idea what Petsin's offense is going to look like. You have no idea who's going to be prioritized. Even in the passing game, I have this weird feeling that Tesla is going to really make the conversation who's better, Tesla or JMO. It's not going to be can JMO pass St. Brown. And then we're going to see the tight end play and really utilize from a guy that mastered it at Arizona. And if anything, you look at the ability to run but non-focus in Arizona, and I don't know how they're going to use Jahmyr Gibbs. It's going to be completely different from what we've seen in the past. I don't think any of us can make the call on who should get paid until we're at least halfway through this coming season.
I think just listening to you, though, I feel like you kind of made the conversation for me. I think you made the conversation, Brian Branch and Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, you look at it with the team. You gave a lot of reasons why the offense wasn't the best version of itself last year. You talked about the offensive coordinator. You talked about the offensive line. You talked about three things before you got to Sam Laporta. And then you mentioned they still went 9-8.
Yeah, but
they still went 9-8.
Jahmyr Gibbs disappeared in games.
He did.
All right? And you look at Saquon, who was with the Giants, a terrible offense, and he didn't disappear in games.
Well, last year,
Hold on.
Last year, Saquon Barkley, look, you were doing good.
I'm not talking about Philly. I'm talking about when he came from a terrible offense with the Giants. He was the only thing that they had there. And then he went and got paid. You're talking about Jahmyr Gibbs coming from one of the top offense of the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Do you understand that $17 million isn't what he's going to get paid? It's going to be well over 20. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
And then if you're talking about putting him in a bell cow situation and he gets one injury that zaps his strengths, you're screwed.
But we can't play the game of if you get injured.
But that's what happens to running backs.
But that's with anybody. How many times wide receivers get nicked up bang, especially going over the middle?
Yeah, but the league, they don't give these contracts out to these running backs. You gave us a great short list. That's it.
100%. We're going to see what happens now that David Montgomery is here. But when you look at what Jahmyr Gibbs means to this offense, what they're allowed to do, especially when the offensive line is there and they can play action, like he is the guy. He is the piece. It's not Sam Laporta. In no way, shape, fashion, or form is Sam Laporta more valuable than Jahmyr Gibbs. And I understand the running back situation.
I'm not talking about more valuable this year. I'm talking about
in the long run in terms of 3
years. Who's more valuable? And who's playing at a higher level?
Okay.
Does Jahmyr keep the speed and the shiftiness?
Where are you
3 years from now?
Where are you in 3 years? Because realistically, in 3 years,
hopefully, already won a Super Bowl.
Okay, hopefully we won a Super Bowl. But where are you in 3 years? I believe that's the valuable part of the conversation. Because where are you in 3 years?
You might be transitioning away from your quarterback in 3 years,
and you damn sure going to need that running back. You're damn sure going to need that running back.
You're going to want that running back to put all of your hopes and dreams on a 7th-year running back with a small frame?
Well, the best thing about that, though, is what he did at 4.32. That 4.32, when other running backs, they fall apart, when they get slower like quarterbacks, and you can start to see they're getting slower from 4.45. They're getting slower from 4.47. So that 4.47 turns into 4.55. It turns into 4.60 when you're 7, year 8, unless you're Adrian Peterson. I don't know how the hell he was able to make it keep going. But when you're talking Jahmyr Gibbs, 4.32, it goes to 4.37. It goes to 4.41. It goes to 4.43.
I would like to argue. I don't think that Jahmyr Gibbs gets over 20. I mean, Saquon is I believe the highest paid running back in the NFL, and his contract doesn't peak to $17 million for another 2 years, which is why I used that number, which is when Jahmyr Gibbs would be getting paid. So I think that 17 is the baseline. It might get to 20, but Sam Laporta doesn't get paid to the end of this season either, and that's who say that he doesn't get 20 million. And so, and also to give context on the Saquon Barkley thing, because he did have some stinkers in his last year with the Giants. He actually had a bunch of them, including a 9-carry for 14-yard game against New Orleans.
Don't make me come after Jahmyr.
Don't
make me come after Jahmyr.
Oh, I know Jahmyr has it, but don't act like Saquon Barkley isn't flawed either on the year that he got paid in his contract.
Oh, yeah, he was bad.
What I'm saying, though, is when you look at what Saquon was,
the Giants?
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't teams all over him. There was a few teams that
5 games under 50 yards
That's
in that
what we're saying. Jahmyr's not bad, but the Giants team was horrible when Saquon
and he
was
still
there.
got paid. So what he's going to be coming out of this offense,
year, he was bad. Like that paid year.
You guys can go ahead and forget about the Jahmyr Gibbs conversation because Jahmyr is getting paid by the Detroit Lions.
Oh, hell yeah.
I don't care what you think.
You don't think that there's any chance that he gets franchised?
No, I don't think so.
I think there is a slight chance.
I don't think so because I think the Detroit Lions have made it about if we draft you and you perform, we will take care of you, we will give you the world, we will do all the things. And they value. This is just my interpretation. I don't think they value any pick like they do Jahmyr Gibbs in terms of moving up for him, what they sacrifice to get him.
There's a lot of truth to that.
How it played out, how they talk about him, the darling of the team, et cetera, and then what he does when he's on that field. This is their favorite player outside of Aiden Hutchinson.
And you know how
he's not going anywhere.
Everyone used to get so mad at me telling everybody that they draft and retain.
Yeah,
so
100%.
Listen,
Gibbs is getting retained for sure.
Both these guys are going to be retained, bro.
I think
both are getting extended. I got news for you, Detroit.
So then what about Branch?
Well, the Lions.
He's getting extended too.
No, hear me out on this. The Lions could be the newest version of the Pittsburgh Steelers because on the defense, they're paying everybody. Offense, not so much. That may be the situation here where Brian Branch, he might be a cap casualty, and because they love offense.
Right.
What makes the drink. The straw that stirs the drink in Detroit is the offense. It's the offensive line. It's Jahmyr Gibbs. It's Jared Goff. It's Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's J-Mo. It's Sam Laporta. This is what Detroit is.
Yep.
And they've shown you that time and time and time and time and time again. Hell, it took them how long to draft an edge?
Yeah, like
outside
6 years.
outside of Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah.
So I think
I just
think it's like the Steelers. They don't care about the offensive side of the ball. I mean, until they pay DK Metcalf. Why I don't know.
Because defenses win championships.
Now when you don't have an offense,
they got more than we do.
Right, you gotta have some version of an offense. Like look at Seattle. Seattle last year is about as basic as you can go for an offense to win a championship.
But yet had the number one wide receiver in the league.
Yeah, right. 100%. But look at the rest of the squad.
And the highest paid running back coming out of free agency.
I understand that, but look at the rest. Like, his stats weren't crazy.
Like, they had a washed cup.
K9's stats weren't crazy. He had a washed cup. Rashid Shaheed's just a punt returner who had like 2 touchdowns receiving the trade deadline. Your tight ends.
Zach Charbonnet.
Barnhill.
What about the greatest redhead ever?
Sam Darnold?
Sam Darnold.
Yeah, when you're operating with a defense like that.
I will say big respect to Mr. Darnold for the turnaround of a career he's had. He's been climbing my list.
Still hurting here at the network over that.
Sometimes you just need an opportunity. Sometimes
I'd
you
be
need somebody.
I was a Minnesota fan.
You just need a good situation, somebody believe in you.
Yep.
Kevin O'Connell came over for the Rams. He
Jared
knew what the hell he was doing.
Yeah, exactly. Very, very similar. Very, very similar to Jared Goff in a way.
Jared Goff had success in the beginning, though, and that's why like everybody plays the sympathy.
He's like Baker Mayfield
and pity card for him. I'm like, no, because Jared Goff went to a Super Bowl in year 4.
That is true.
Like, everybody tries to act like that Super Bowl never happened.
It counts.
It does.
He didn't do it very well.
No, that Super Bowl is like one of the most forgotten Super Bowls of all time. I feel like nobody talks about that Super Bowl.
That's because the final score was 10-3 or 10-13.
Yeah, something like that.
Like the biggest play of the game was Gronk, and it wasn't even a touchdown.
I remember
that. Got to the 2 or got to the 1.
Oh, yeah.
And then he got in the end zone. All right, look, man.
Defense, baby.
One more break. We'll come back. We'll clean the show up. Hell of a show out of you guys, man. Appreciate you guys for tuning in to us. Smash the like button, man.
We're a little low on likes.
Smash the like button.
Smash them.
Maybe you guys didn't like the pick. Like, did you not like the pick? Did you not like the Sam Laporta conversation? Smash that like button. I'll pull up on you. I will pull up on you. I will pull up on you. All right, let me tell you about Art and Jake's. 80 is the magic number. 80 TVs wall to wall, and also 22. Remember that number because there are 22 beers on tap. You got to do it at Art and Jake's. They just get it. And also the menu is sneaky fire. Sneaky fire. You go in there, you won't expect it. It's not bar food. I will tell you that. Pull up on Art and Jake's. They do a good job. It's a good time in the event space. In fact, June 30th, we will be there in Sterling Heights, Art and Jake. It will be the Yankees going down to the Detroit Tigers. Yeah, I know they got us yesterday, but you know what? Tomorrow is always another day. So see you June 30th. Pull up on us. We will be there. We will have fun at Art and Jake's, a bar that, yeah, they do it right.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
This is a hungry bear. This is Carl and Jeff. Carl isn't worried because he has focused energy to spare thanks to Thrive energy pouches. Jeff didn't use Thrive when Carl offered. The bear is happy about that.
Don't just survive, thrive.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
Hey guys, I want to tell you about the Yaldo Eye Center. You remember Rip Hamilton back in the day talking about it? We've had so many great athletes here standing up for the Yaldo Eye Center because they've been standing up for the community for over 30 years, over 100,000 successful procedures. They are the best in town, and they want to offer you something amazing. That LASIK surgery, it's an 8-minute procedure, and the majority of everybody the next day, painless procedure they're seeing 20/20. So it doesn't matter how bad your eyes are or what prescription you have, they're going to hook you up with their summer special, and that's $16.99 per eye. Just head on over to yaldoeyecenter.com. Find out some more information. Invest in your eyes. Invest in yourself.
And we are back. But let me tell you a little bit about the DMAC Grind Time. Thursday, July 2nd, Darren McCarty, our guy, DMAC25, is bringing back the grit to Detroit. You heard him in the last 2 weeks talking about the situation that is his Detroit Red Wings. He wants that grit back. Woodward Sports is taking over the grand opening of the Grind Time Pro Wrestling Academy at the historic Brewster Willard I used to go to Brewster back in the day. Recreational Center in Detroit. The Woodward Heavyweights will be broadcasting live on site 5 to 7 p.m. Pull up on them. Open house 5:30 to 7:30, giving you the perfect chance to tour the brand new school, sign up for classes, or lock in your gym membership. And stick around I hate long reads. Stick around right after a free graduation wrestling show to see Grind Time's newest students put it all on the line. Don't miss out. Check out the Grind Time Wrestling Academy Thursday, July 2nd. Shout out to D-Mac, man. He's been in the wrestling phase for a very long time. He knows his you-know-what. Every time I go to LCA for WWE, you're going to see D-Mac, and he is going to be ringside.
Constant legends in the house here.
100%, man. You know, 10 is a great number in soccer, but it's a better number when it's represented by my boy Lindsey Hunter. Lindsey! Hey! What's the word, my brother?
I didn't know 10 was a great number in soccer.
You know what I'm saying? It is the number.
Is it?
It's the number. If you wear 10, you're the best.
Interesting. I always like anything with 1 in it. You know what I'm saying?
Hello.
1, 10, 11. I always thought those were the numbers.
Well, you wanted to be 11 when you came here, right?
No, of course not.
I thought that I heard that back in the day.
Isaiah was 11.
But then you wanted to be that, but you knew that it couldn't, and that's why I heard that's why you took 10.
I wore 11 in college because of Isaiah.
I remember. I read all about you after we drafted you, man.
I thought I was going to be a Laker, so.
Well,
you were at one point.
Eventually.
You got the hardware to prove it?
I know, but I was thinking that, coming out of college, Jerry West was like, hey, we're drafting you. We're moving you here in a month.
Yeah.
Get you a convertible, get your house on the water.
Sold you.
Sold me.
Sold you.
I was gone.
Now you're in Detroit.
It was not difficult.
Well, you said everything with a 1 in it is a really good thing. Well, pick number 17 was Ibuka Okorie out of Stanford last night, Detroit Pistons. Talk about the move. A lot of people on the fence. They like the move, but don't know if the time is right, et cetera, et cetera. He's too short. I don't know. These are things I'm hearing. We had to have the OG legend himself. Tell us what the real is.
First of all, people that didn't follow college basketball don't know the kid.
Yes, sir.
But if you've watched, that kid was a monster. That kid dropped 36 on North Carolina, like it was nothing.
Yep.
Like he has it, man. He has an opportunity to be really, really good. And if you've watched C.J. McCollum, if you've watched crafty guards have success in the NBA and size not being a factor, this kid has all those attributes. Like you can't stay in front of him. He can shoot the basketball with range. He's athletic. He can defend. So he's a total package. So people that always get caught up in this he's not big enough. He's
the measurables.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man. It just depends on the situation you're in. There have been a lot of successful guards, 6'2" and under. You know what I mean?
Talk about it.
We just had one to win Finals MVP.
Shout out to Jalen Brunson.
Exactly.
And the New York Knicks.
Exactly.
As Anson called him.
So I really like this pick. I think that kid is going to do well. I think Trajan has a role for him, especially as a rookie. I think he'll lead that second unit and be a guy that can score without needing any help, which the Pistons really need. We need another scorer to go along with Cade that you don't have to run pick and roll all the time for. This guy can go get a bucket. And that's what we need.
Lindsay, talk about how important it is when a coach and a front office, when they identify a player that they want, when they spend that time, they spend those resources. Like, there's no mistaking. This is the guy that Trajan Langdon wanted. This is the guy that J.B. Bickerstaff wanted. We see this time and time again with Brad Holmes. He does not care what you think. This is the guy I wanted. This is the guy I track. Talk about how important that is going to be for Ibuka Okorie as he comes in. This team wanted him. This team valued him. This team has a place for him.
Absolutely. You know as well as I do. When your front office and coaching staff is in alignment and everything is the synergy is there, it works out. The player has a high opportunity, a high chance to be successful because everybody's pulling in the same direction. I think that's what you have here. You have a kid that was on the radar, and I remember reading about him before the draft, and they were high on him. They were high on somebody. And what have we been hearing about the Pistons? What they lack all season? A guy that can do what?
Score.
Besides Cade,
handle the ball.
Handle the ball and score without being on his own.
No doubt.
And that's exactly what they got. They got a kid that he's only 19.
Yep.
Kid's young.
And Trajan told us what he was going to do. He said they needed shooting, needed ball handling, and he was ready to move up. And we've seen Brad Holmes, he identifies his players, doesn't care where they are, he's going to go get them.
Exactly.
That talking about trading up to 13, that wasn't for Caden Proctor. That was just in case there was a run, they wanted Blake Miller. I see the same thing on this. May 21st, I said it. The pick was going to be Okorie. I doubled down yesterday. I have been comping him to a Ja Morant. Same size, same bag, same ability to score at all three levels. Where are you at with that comparison?
I'll give his comp more of a C.J. McCollum.
Okay.
He's Ja's a little taller. Now Okorie is an athlete as well, but Ja is a different athlete.
Yeah, he can
he's a different kind of athlete.
No doubt, no doubt.
So I would give him more of a C.J. McCollum comp.
Okay.
I think he's crafty like C.J. If you watch C.J. in the playoffs against the Knicks, he gave Brunson everything he wanted and some.
No doubt about it. Where you at on this, Justin?
I just want to ask Lindsay. Who do you think the odd guard out is in this rotation? You obviously have Dennis, Marcus, Sasser as well. Like, who are you thinking is like? I agree with you with the Okoye leading that bench unit. So if he is leading the bench unit, who's that guy who's getting snuffed out of the rotation?
Well, I think I think JB will make it competitive. I don't think he's going to give Okorie anything. Sure. I think he's going to have to come here and earn it. I think he's more than capable of doing that with his skill set and just, he's a bright kid as well.
Yes, he is. Accepted to Harvard.
He was going to go to Harvard because both parents went to Harvard. His parents were Harvard grads. He decided to, do Stanford, which is no slouch.
No doubt.
So I think the kid is going to be willing to work. I think he's going to understand the offense, as he gets acclimated to this next level of how to play in the NBA. And once he understands that, a person with his skill set with spacing is going to be very, very hard to deal with.
No doubt. And I don't know how hard that's going to be, but do you see a situation where in 2-3 years he could be that good where he gets into the starting lineup and you see the two of them owning that backcourt together?
I was thinking that when they first drafted him, I said, man, if this kid develops and keep going, you could have a kid that's comparable to Tyrese Maxey.
Oh, boy. Get us excited, Lindsey. Come on.
Hey, I'm just telling you that. To me, I think he's in that mode that he could be a kid that, Tyrese Maxey wasn't
Pistons
a lot of
could have had Tyrese Maxey.
Let's not talk about who we could have had. We could have had a whole lot of people. But this kid, Maxey wasn't highly talented. He wasn't a lottery pick. Mm-hmm. But look at him.
No doubt about
it. Kid
it.
has become a star. And this kid has that upside. I think he can be a person that comes in and works his way and becomes really, really good. And now you see him, he and Cade are in the backcourt together, and that would be nasty. Now, who's going to be the odd man out? Man, it's going to be tough on a lot of those guys. If this kid can come in and really get acclimated faster, Dana's could be, on the outside looking in.
Trade-friendly contract.
Famous,
yeah.
Famous Dana's, if you will. I don't know if you answered this question before I left. I ran downstairs to grab Pops. What up, Pop?
What up, Pop?
Got him in the studio.
Another legend.
Got Mom over here chilling.
Mom. So many legends today.
100%. Now that we've got the pick that the Pistons wanted, which is Abuka Okorie, what's the next move for the Detroit Pistons in Trajan Landon? What is the move? Because it's 4 o'clock, and I know the people want to know from you.
Murphy.
What's the move for Trajan Landon? It doesn't even have to be a particular player, but what is the move?
Well, I think the other thing is more shooting. Yeah. Like, we have to get more floor spacers, and I think that's what he's going to be on the hunt for. I don't know if the Trey Murphy thing will happen. I know we were high on him.
Hell yeah.
I don't know if New Orleans is willing to deal with us in that, Joe Dumars is down there.
I've been bringing that up.
I agree.
I've been bringing that up.
I agree.
How do we get him home? How do we get Joe back like we got Megatron back? Like, will he even pick up the phone for Trajan?
They got to talk to Sheila.
I didn't even. I've been asking this question. I didn't know it was going to happen. Please tell us.
I don't know if you can get Joe back.
The worst divorce in Detroit history.
I don't know if you can get Joe back. Probably the second worst divorce. Isaiah was the first one.
Yeah, but he's back.
Yeah, he's back.
Yes,
he's back.
Thank
But
goodness.
I don't know if you can get Joe back.
Time heals all wounds.
I hope so.
Or does it? Words to think about. Look, man, Lindsey, we love you so much, man. Always gonna have you in this network.
No doubt about it.
And I'm just loving what we're seeing. This is 2 weeks in a row. We got a chance to see you, have a conversation.
For sure.
Anytime you're in there, man, pull up, man. The chat would love to hear from you. Speaking of the chat, we appreciate all the engagement, man. We appreciate you.
Doubt.
Today was great in the chat. You guys are on. You guys are firing on all cylinders, having a conversation. Whether you love it or hate it, I think you're gonna enjoy it. And that is Abuka Okorie, who is your new
You're gonna
pick,
love him.
number 17 overall. And you know how I feel about that number 17. It's a special number in my heart. So one last time, I say happy birthday to my sister Miranda J. Plater and her wonderful husband, who has come into our life and been such a special treat as a father, as a husband to my sister. Love you, bro. Love you, sis. See you later. Anson, great job out of you, man. This is your Super Bowl. NBA draft. That's what you do.
And I nailed it. I nailed it.
You nailed it twice.
That's 2 in a row.
Pause on that. JS, Lindsey Hunter, my man, Double D in the background, B Last, Sweet Potato Cam, Mom, Dad, Kool-Aid, B, everybody's in here. We'll see you guys mañana.
It's bear hunting season, and Dan Campbell is hungry for some kneecaps.
If you can just get a hold of them and you start dragging their ass out to the deep, dark abyss, you can drown them.
The Kings of the North are back for another year of the brand new Lions. Make sure you're locked in to Detroit's #1 sports network for all the news and info on your Detroit Lions.
Woodward Sports, let's go.